Good Wednesday evening, everybody. We are live with American Ricci Mahjong League action. Nathaniel here to start us off with the C1 matchup. We've got games 3 and 4 to be played at table C1-6 featuring Jake B, JTH, Gabriel C, and Elisa N. It will be JT starting us off in the dealer seat. And let's see, it looks like Gabe is to the right. Hailing from DC Ricci, across the table, Elise, New York group, and Brennan, I believe, is from Kansas City Club. Tempai already for Elise, though, with Shinitsu, a full-blown Mangan. Multi-sided weight, 5'8 Mon. And it looks like, so far, most of that weight's being pretty well contained here. Oh, we'll get the chance to change the weight around. Will it be taken?
Come.
A little bit. Oh, how about Khan into Rinchan? That was unexpected. Full Shinitsu plus Rinchan for the Hanuman. And Elise finds a way to get it done. So taking the 147 shape, adding the 7 on, replacing it with a 1. And still on that 5'8 weight. Awesome play from Kavi. Perhaps reading in the fortunes that Rinchan was in her future. Early Hanuman will get Elise off to a great start, but it will be Gabe's turn in the dealer seat. Ishant then already after a few discards. Kutsuki waiting around the 7 Mon and the 7 pin. 7 pin gets connected to, will slam a Ricci. Two-sided Ricci, potentially Tanya if the 6 pin is discarded, and well, Brennan's got a 6. Sorry, that's Jake with a 6. Doesn't really fit the Honitsu plan, so it might come out soon. But starts with a 8 Mon and 6 Mon first, so not dealing in just yet. Unfortunately, any Tempai draw is going to lead to the expensive end, unless somehow he sees that Toy is an option. And he is making the play, 4-so, 5-so. Moving in the direction of Toy instead. Kind of brave move because you have to try 2 different Suji. The 4 from the 147, the 5 from the 258 shapes. But ends up avoiding the deal for the time being. Still 9 pin yet to be seen. 3 in the wall. And one of them's found now. But for Brennan, what a nice dodge. Uda as well for Gabriel means that he will be back over 30,000 points. 2,000 all. Hoping to keep this dealer run going. Starts with a lot of pairs now, 3 of them. And the East we're hoping to pair up as well to become double Yakuhai. Outside of that, no ability to call, so the quality of the shapes also not the strongest either. Definitely Chitoya on the radar, but we don't need to commit to 7 pairs just yet. On the right, Elise is making progress. 2 away from Tempai now. Tough shape to fill is that 5-7 pin, but we saw Jake draw a couple of those in the last round, so we'll see if Elise can do the same this time around. Speaking of Jake, he's already called the West Wind Yakuhai and is holding Adora. The 1 Mon, not necessarily the most efficient tile to keep here, but paired up is a decent amount of value, and of course, we can hope to fill the 3-4 shape with a 2 instead, and even call this using the door itself. So nice hold there. For JT on the left, looks like a standard type of hand. A little tricky to use the Dora, because you really need the 3 Mon. And if you pair it up instead, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs. So it could be a Chitoy for JT as well. Back at Gabe's hand, this is making progress. The Pinsu shape is now stronger. And the pairs in the Sosu are strengthened. Looks like we might even be cutting away from one of those pairs in its entirety. Well, it's a little unfortunate to have the 3-4 shape in the Pinsu overlap with the 6-7 shape in terms of the number of tiles that can accept, specifically the 5 pin. Certainly tends to be a stronger shape than the 1-1-2. So Also, there's a very small chance that if we draw something like a 4-so, we can cut the 5-so and then maybe work towards the 3-so, get 3, 4, 5 going. We might be willing to cut the 6-pin, 7-pin, remove that overlapping block in favor of potential 3, 4, 5 Sanchoku. I did notice on the left, though, JT paired up the Dora, so Ishanten for Chitoy. Also now Ishanten for a normal hand, given the fact that we've created an Anko. The problem is how to resolve this 1-mon, 2-mon shape, especially because we can see a Chi incorporating a 1, 2, and a 3, and one of the 3s is already out, so it's difficult to get Ipeko, it's difficult to get a triplet, given that there's only one of each tile left. There's that Dora, and that'll be called, so Toy Toy is the plan. Ishanten for JT. There is a 2-mon left in the wall. And the 7-so is one left as well, so definitely possible to get there. Gabriel's hand has taken so many twists and turns. I think it might be time to call this 5, even though we don't have a Yaku. We're just running out of time to get Tempai. It does pair up the 6-pin, so now we're back on the Chitoy plan. Still Ishanten for a normal hand. We'll hold everything here. You can call Pon for 4-mon, 3-pin, or 6-pin and find a Tempai. I think with 7 draws left, or 7 tiles left, we'd have to call this. And he will indeed take it. Tempai, though, found from Jake as well on the 6-so. Not a live weight here, but a little bit dangerous to the dealer's what appears to be a Tanyao. No attempt at a Rinshan from Gabriel. Said maybe once is enough for a game. Tempai for JT on the left. Toy Toy Door 3. Eight-so's not going to cut it. And Gabriel dodges the deal in tiles, so it will be 1,000 players, 1,000 points rather, to each of the Tempai players. At least had the points to spare, and we will be running it again. Gabriel maintaining the dealership, holding out really nice shapes here. The lower Manzu really flexible when you've got a triplet and a pair, and even more flexible now. Except the 1-4, the 3, and the 2-5. There's the 5. Also holding a Dora, which I'm sure he's eager to draw around. To the right, though, the hand looks really fast. Already went away from Tempai. Potentially Ipeko in the Pinzu if you can draw the 6-pin. Outside of that, will be aiming perhaps for triplets, as there's an Anko already in hand and 3 pairs. Maybe even Sanoko chance here. Across the table. That 3-mon improves the Manzu shape, so might end up cutting away from the 9-7-mon or the 9-8 pin. Depends on how viable you think Itsu is, and if we do play for Itsu, we will have to cut out one of these Jamin shapes, so Jake ends up playing the more efficient route, holding the most number of blocks. Now there's a slight chance that a 2-3-4, even here, Jake is going to play for all of the blocks possible. Hedge everything. Oh, the 1 pin comes back. JT's hands still under construction. 2-8 from Tempai, but we do need to draw a tile around the 3-mon or the 3-pin. And so far, we've just been getting a bunch of honor tiles. It's sad when you've been holding this dragon for so long, you finally give it up, only then to draw 2 more of the same tile. Tempai found for Gabriel Gonna miss out on the Pinfu here because the 3-mon was discarded earlier.
リーチ
Oh, we're gonna see a Chase Ricci for Chitoy. At least was just looking for a better weight. Decided the 3-mon that was Gimbits to the dealer was good enough. So it's Ricci Dora 1 for dealer versus Ricci Tanyao Chitoy or Elise on the right. 3-mon only held by Jake and...
ロン
Oh, there goes the 1-pin. Uda as well for the 7700 is going to be a little bit painful. Gabriel will be extremely happy to have hit there. And now continues the dealership with the double east in the starting set of tiles. Perhaps to run it back one more time even. After that early Hanuman Rinchan from Elise, it's been all Gabriel here. Relatively straightforward shapes as well. Planning to perhaps cut the 5-mon and the 8-so in the future. Start with the 8-so here. Samanchan filled for, at least on the right pair of Dora as well. Can open up with the south. I imagine that will be the plan here. As we are Ishantan. It's kind of interesting because our shapes are good and our, we're just one away. Our value is good as well. I wonder if Elise will pass on the first south if it comes out. I think she's probably willing to just take the call, but you have to be determined. And we do have a call, though that doesn't give us a Yaku. I wonder if the plan is a 2-3-4 Sanchoku. I am a big proponent of the 2-3-4, but this is a little bit speculative, I think. Gabriel does get the double east call and will be one away from Tempai. Ooh, and second dragon pair for JT. That's 2 away from Tempai. Oh, now you got that tough choice. Do we wait on the 4 or the 6? Looking around at the pawns, I have a slight preference towards the D4 so, because we've already discarded a 4-mon, because we've already discarded a 2. And because our Toyman, Jake, has discarded the 1-mon early. Makes the 4 a little bit worse, but they've also cut a 6, which makes the 4 better. So it's pretty close. Alright, now decision for Elise does choose to call the 2. So Atosuke can only win on the south. And at this point, you're a little worried that someone is holding a pair. But for 3900, that will be good. Cannot win on the 9, so which means if someone were to discard the south now, the temporary Furiten will prevent Elise from winning. Fortunately, that doesn't occur, so because we've been able to draw and discard a tile, the temporary Furiten passes. Oh, that 6 can't fit the hand. Turns out 6-mon was the correct choice. And dealer showing no signs of stopping yet. 47-1 with 4 Homba now and another double east start. It's going great for Gabriel. Dora is the north wind. On the right, not really a tremendous amount of value here. Looks like it's aiming towards a Ricci Nomi, actually, with efficient play. Across the table, Jake is hoping for Pinfu with a 7-mon draw, or a 2-pin draw. This would be probably the best pull-ins at the current moment for this hand. Still efficient play with no door just yet. As I say that, North is drawn and immediately discarded. Similarly, JT finds a pay, but that will be held on, as that is the seat wind. Ishanten for Our dealer, once again, it's going to be interesting. We'll have that same decision that we saw in the last round. After calling the east, the 2, 4, 6 shape, do we cut the 2 and wait for the 5, or do we cut the 6 and wait for the 3? I think most frequently the 6 is discarded. The one benefit to holding the 6 mon instead of the 2 mon is that if we get the chance to call the pon on the 9 so, then we can cut the 4 to follow and have the 6, 7, 7, 7 shape, 3-sided, waiting on 5, 6, and 8 mon. But because one of the 9 so is once discarded already, that scenario is a little bit less likely. East finally shown.
Boom.
And we will see the call and the 6 cut, of course. 3 mon not very live in the wall. In fact, they're all held pretty securely in JT's hand, perhaps less so in Elise's hand, unless Toy Toy is the chosen plan. Normally, I think we cut 1 mon and give up on the Sanchoku because that drops us back a little bit. And that all but locks this shape into Elise's hand. Now Toy Toy, perhaps on the horizon. The difficulty is the 2 pin has come out twice already, and the 1 pin, 4 pin shape isn't that strong either. So really relying on the 3 mon and the 3 pin if you're going for Toy Toy. The backup Nidoke of the 1 pin, 4 pin, needing to accept that twice, is a little bit on the difficult side, especially since the 4 pin came out a 3rd time. You need the last 1 pin and the last 4 pin for that shape. Ooh, Shop was interesting, but the 9 so had already come out, so I don't think... Well, I didn't think we could make the swap. I guess we can. And, well, the weight is more live. There is a 2 mon in the wall somewhere. Gabriel with that wall reading acumen. JT still sitting Ishan 10. 5 so cut here is a little bit wider, and so it will be taken.
Sumo.
Oh, wow. Finds the 2 mon for the Tsumo. Another win. And with 2 concealed triplets, we'll have enough food to bump up the value to 1,300 all, plus a Homba. And Gabriel continues to steamroll. Finally, a high pie that doesn't start with double east, though. Can accept the door 7 pin. The So shape is really nice as well. And the Manzu Yaman totally solid. So even without the speed and callability, still a relatively strong high pie. On the right, Elise has the tuned call. Multiple pairs, so we'll see how that hand develops. Across the way, another hand with 3 pairs, a collection of Manzu tiles. Perhaps Honitsu on the horizon. On the left, that hand looks pair heavy as well. Making an Anko, so Ishanten for Richinomi. If we draw an Anko of the 9 so 4 pin or 8 mon, we can choose to take a Sananko Richi. Slightly less win rate perhaps, but definitely a lot more value, especially when you don't have Dora. Finding any way to get extra Yaku is really solid. Now that we've drawn Tenpai on the Shabo 4 pin 9, so there is the option to just Damo or even break the Tenpai. But why do that when you can just hit the button?
Sumo.
Anipatsumo! This just in, Richi is good. Richi Patsumo for JT, up to 28,000 points, and just outside of 2nd place now. The dealership finally passes. We will have Elise on the dealership now. Nice 5-so fill, 9 pin probably to be cut soon. Ooh, even holding it. Is that locking in perhaps the 4-5-6 shape? Typically a little bit inefficient, so I wonder if there's a particular plan here. Perhaps holding for the honor tiles. On the right, Jake is going to need a lot of work in this hand. Also, praying to pair up. East, white dragon or green dragon. Across the table, Tanya type shapes. Door being the north makes Tanya a little bit less valuable. And now even 4 pairs. We'll see how that hand develops. On the left, Gabriel is 2 away from Tempai with Diamond, and a callable green dragon. We'll see if he chooses to take that. It's still being held by Jake though on the right. Ooh, nice fill for Elise here. Now Ishantem. Chitoi Tempai for JT, and I wonder we'll see a Ricci soon. Will Dama. Waiting for a weight improvement. Now is where you'd really like to draw the pay. Oh, except it came out twice. It just came out from Jake, so that one tile weight, a little less strong. But I'm sure there's a lot of other tile improvements that we could get. Dealer also really close to Tempai. A lot of tile acceptance in the Monzu, although we've already dropped the 5 Mon. You can still redraw that.
リーチ
And that is the weight that JT was looking for, a terminal tile. Cutting a 3-so 5-so makes it really difficult to expect that hand to be waiting on the 1.
リーチ
Tempai for dealer, the Will Chase waiting on 5 pin. Ricci Tanyao versus Ricci Chitoi. 5 pin has 3 tiles in the wall, make that 2. Oh, Nipatsumo again! Back to back. One for JT and now one for the dealer for the manga on 12,000 points. And Elise will be reclaiming strong second place, perhaps going to be taking the lead soon, as we will see a dealer reaping. All right, well, I've enjoyed this little solo commentary run, but I do have a guest to join me. Welcome to Isabella. How's it going, Isabella? I have been looking forward to having your first opportunity to broadcast for the American Ricci Mahjong League, and in a second I'll go ahead and throw you up in the overlay, but we'll be starting off with the C1 table and a bunch of A1 stuff to happen later on.
That's super exciting, and I'm super excited to be here for my first broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely happy to have you. And I don't know how much of this game you've been able to catch so far, but it's been exciting. We've had a Rinshan in hand 1. We've had back-to-back Ipatsumos, and it's Elise who's been making the comeback after Gabe had a great start.
It looks super exciting just by the point scores at the table at the moment, and the fact that it's only E3. So
Yeah, I'm expecting perhaps a
Yeet.
lengthy game, although might see the dish passing now as we have a Ricci from Jake. Ricci
Ooh.
P, who Dora 1 waiting 5-8 Mon.
honestly, it looks like, oh my god, to know all those names. JT has all of the 3 of the 5/8s, and then we also have, oh no, JT is Toyman at the moment. Okay. So it looks like Gabriel has 3 of the 5/8s. JT also wants a 5 to fill in that 4/6. Ooh, that 4/6 Kantan. And then Elise just got one of the 5s and she decided to hold on to it for now.
Yeah, now if you're the dealer here and you draw something like the 7 pin. Are you willing to drop the 5 mon for the 1/4 pin weight? Ricci pin Fedora 1?
That is so tempting, especially
Home.
because you already threw 6 mon.
Yeah, basically no
But
improvement
I
there.
really is no improvement. But I guess you're already up pretty high at the moment. So I think I would have probably did what Elise did and just tossed 4 pin, at least at the initial start.
Yeah, that's true. I
Find a
mean,
safe pile.
it's kind of standard, at least in terms of ladder play, that when you're in the lead and or at least you have a wide margin to the Ricci player, and they have an early Ricci, you can just back away and prevent losing points. But also in the league setting, there is this idea of trying to accumulate as many points as possible. So it's really hard to balance the two. And I think Elise isn't completely giving up here, but also trying to play as cautiously as possible, like you said.
Definitely. Plus, Elise is in a pretty good spot right now in the league in general. She's kind of in the middle, but a couple good games can get her in that
Sumo.
guaranteed promotion zone. Oh, and the sumo on the 8 mon.
Nice, fine. So no Ura, still
Very-
5,200 points. And
You
Jake's
definitely take that.
absolutely. I mean, when you're in last place, any points is good, especially when you've got your dealership yet to come. We've seen some big wins on the dealerships so far.
So we'll see Jake hoping to see the miracles that everyone else has just been pulling out.
This starting set of tiles, not terribly thrilling, but that 9 so is a nice pickup.
Definitely. You can have your nice pair in the pays, or it could also be a Shabo weight with something else maybe later on.
I think for the early cuts, I do like holding on to the 6 a little bit longer because it allows me to draw the door and make use of it. Although, to be fair, we did
Home.
have the 9 so we can still use the door if we draw it in. And I wonder if that early cut signals that Jake is at least thinking about some type of outside hand.
I agree with that, except cutting south right after that was an interesting choice if he was going to go for some kind of outside hand.
That is
But the
true.
2 pin drop, or sorry, the 2 pin draw was very lucky.
Certainly,
There's an E.
it's leaving the options open.
See, let's look at the other hands. We already have a Chun call from
Oh,
Elise.
that's Dora 3.
Yes.
Oh, found
He's
the
just trying to go as fast as possible.
yeah, found the
So
exciting hand at the
actually,
table.
Home.
maybe Jake knew that they had Dora 3 and had no chance of getting a 7 anyway, so he just cut the 6 right away.
We have seen some uh, incredible wall reading already. Some moves that I was not expecting, and they ended up to be the perfect plays given what was in everyone's hand. Maybe that's something that you can only
Oh,
sense when you're actually sitting at the table, but
what would you do in Elisa's hand? Would you take Tempai right here on the 4 mon, or would you cut 3-5 and maybe look for that ramen weight?
I think I am too. I've got to take the Tempai from Mongun. It's still improvable, um, particularly
Um,
because if we keep the 8, oh, there it is.
oh
Boom.
no, there it is. That was a super loose 4 in Jake's hand as well.
Yeah, the only tile that was kind of sitting out there, so it just felt like the natural discard. You're not expecting the hidden triplet of Dora.
That must
Home.
have hurt, especially after you were looking forward to your dealership.
It looks like Jake's going to be fighting back an early call of the 1 Mon, and perhaps this is a Toy Toy because we're not in the East round anymore, so that pair not going to give a Yaku.
I'm also wondering if that might have been an accidental call.
Yeah, I have definitely done that multiple times myself. I have to be very careful about clicking on the screen when it's not my
Home.
not my turn.
Oh, potential Honitsu here for JT.
Yeah, this is an interesting move. I think J2 is actually asking around in the Armel chat about Honitsu, and several people were encouraging fighting very aggressively for it. So I wonder if this is a response to the advice that was received.
Well, I think especially in Akanashi, Honitsu is a very good Yaku,
Hmm.
especially if you have a Yaku high. That's a very easy 3,900 points. And if you have the Yaku High guaranteed, it's also a pretty decent hand to fold with or to Mawashi into something else in case someone reaches.
That's very true. And as dealer, you're getting 5,800, or even with the draw of the Hatsu, the Green Dragon, you can find 7,700. So there's a serious amount of value with Honitsu.
Definitely.
Unfortunately,
Although
the Hatsu is paired up on the right.
リーチ
it is a slightly painful Mochi Mochi, but it might come out. Someone might think it's a safe tile.
Yeah, now that there's a Ricci, that it could be a folding path for Gabriel on the right. Usually,
Ooh, that's actually a great draw for
yeah,
Gabriel. And there's the
you
Hatsu. Now
called
you're
it.
tenpai on 6-pin.
So 6-pin Tempai versus 4-7. So across the table, it's a Ricci, Pinfu, Dora 1. So nice strong hand.
チ
Don't want to take Gabriel out quite yet. I think they are now also tenpai on 3-6.
They're
Although no Yaku because of the 1-mon.
gonna have to be a little bit cautious about dropping these pin tiles. And yeah, it just backs off of it temporarily.
Oh, will that come
4
out? And it does. That's the win for Elise, who is now really taking it away.
Oh, the Uda as well. Up to 55,000. And so a significant gap now. However, the last time we saw Gabriel in the dealer seat, he stayed here for 4 rounds. So we'll see if he can pull that off again.
No one has a great starting hand, it looks like. 7-mon Dora. I think the best hand actually does belong to Elise at the moment. But yeah, nothing looks super fast here.
Yeah, I look to the Dora hands, but only one is seen, and that's on the left. The hand also kind of looks like a little bit like Honitsu because the shapes in the other suits, other than the Pinzu, those shapes aren't so strong. 3-5, in fact, coming out.
Oh, an addition of a 5-mon, so that 5-5-7 is a stronger shape. But then if you get the Anko of the 5-mon, you'd end up needing to discard Dora. Or keep it.
That's true. You could always cut away from the honors and just try to rebuild around the Dora. I think what's likely to happen is that JT will possibly cut the 5-mon in the future, hoping to use the Dora. And then, oh, well,
Oh, never mind.
that solves the issue.
That's a great draw. Get rid of one of the honor tiles. And it is South round, so they could just call for South Dora 1. They would want more value, but securing a positive third place is also not a bad option when the point differentials are this high.
Yeah, I'd
リ
be
ーチ
very. Oh well, we're gonna have to put that thought on hold because there's a Ricci.
So very nice Ricci, a 3-6 reach for Ricci Pinfu.
ポン
5 tiles live, and JT's gonna fight this.
Oh, but dealer draws a Dora and cuts Dora Suji. But that's safe. Sorry, I totally missed that.
Well, they're gonna have to try the 5-mon next. That's the one that's a little less safe. Oh, but with this tempi, I think they're gonna have to.
Slam the button, reach Pandora for dealer. That's not
リーチ
bad.
Yeah, that's
Although 2 tiles
fantastic.
held by Elise on the
でも
right.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Ends up just becoming a Ricci stick donation. Not a tremendous amount of value for Elise, but will be absolutely thrilled to prevent the dealer from winning the hand.
And get her own dealership back.
Absolutely, with a very strong lead. Uh-oh.
Already a con right off the bat.
I think there was a little bit of a visual glitch as we swapped screens because there haven't been any calls, but no discards made for JT or Gabriel here. So I think we may have glitched a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh and see what it actually looks like. That early West call though, 32 Fu in the bank. That's like getting an extra Han. Let's go ahead and swap back to Elise in the dealer seat. This looks better.
Yes.
Okay, so Dora 5 pin and 5 so. Oh man, that gives me thoughts of some big value. JT starting with 2 of the new Dora, the 2 of the 5 so.
I almost want to be like, you should go for Chitoy, but Chitoy is such a slow hand. But you have 4 pairs, including a Dora pair. I guess another great option would be just Haku pawn, pawn, pawn. Build your palace.
Plum Palace, as they say. I think if they get the 5 so chance to call, I think they'll absolutely call that for the Mongon chance. Ricci also scary perspective because there are 2 door indicators, which means 2 Uda indicators.
Definitely. Also, if you get a good draw, you can also cut away Haku Haku and maybe go for a cleaner Ricci. Or if you draw, I don't know, Tanyao.
For sure.
Potential.
Actually, we saw Jake cutting away from the south pair, and that
ポン
was double south, so I wonder if he thought he had too many pairs and wanted to aim for Ricci without opening the hand.
That's a very nice draw for Jake. And now he has made, at least theoretically, that south pretty safe. Oh, are we going to see a Ricci here for dealer?
This is tough
What will
because,
she pick?
yeah, the weight's not good. I kind of like this Dama.
I agree. I think the Dom was really nice, especially with the potential for upgrades.
The Shampoo shape definitely draws a lot of tiles for upgrades. Even if we backfire with the 5 so draw, we can still 50-10 Ricci. I think that's okay to do in this situation. Another
Probably
option was
also
to,
scare some people off.
well, yeah, especially as dealer with 2 indicators. I think another option was to cut the 4 so for the Dama and hope to improve on either side of the 4 or the 6. And if you draw the 5 so, you can just Tsumo for Tanya Dora 1.
I
The
think if I would do for playing, I'd probably go for that option. Maybe not cut the 4, even though 5 pin is original Dora. It's just you risk being furry 10 on the 2 pin as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of 50-10 chances here. The other nice thing about cutting the 4 so is that you never. Oop, there's the 4
ドン
pin.
There it is.
Yeah, you never lose the 5 pin because if you draw it, you can just cut the 8 pin and still hold it and be tempai. But this play worked out perfectly for another dealership.
60,000 points.
I would like to have a game where I'm sitting at 60,000 points. Maybe next session.
60,000 points with nothing super large, right? There's been no like Baimons or anything. There's been a consistent win of Mangans.
Yeah, and there was a Rinshan Shinitsu in hand 1
Oh,
for Elise.
I missed that.
It was fantastic. I was having trouble reading the shape, and Elise just knew what it was. Conned the one after drawing a 7 mon from a 147 shape, and it was brilliant.
That's incredible. Was it closed or was it
It
open?
was open, so the Rinshan actually mattered. It gave the full Hanuman.
The full Hanemon value. That's so exciting. All right, the shapes across the way are looking pretty good right now. Finishing 2 shapes. We have 2 tunes on the left with one on the right, 2 Hatsus on the right with one on the left. So I guess they're holding them for
Oh,
something.
it's like inverse shapes right now. It's an amusing symmetry.
Definitely.
I'm really looking at dealer's hand and hoping to see a 456 Sanchoku, but
Could happen.
we
Definitely a possibility.
would need to draw like another 9 mon or so in order to make that a realistic proposition.
ポン
I guess you could draw the 3 so and fix that 446 shape with the 2 pin cut.
Also draw a 3 pin and cut 2 so.
Yeah, and then ooh, we could even cut the 9-mon in the future to force the Tanya. Well, now having drawn this
Definitely.
second Dora, I wonder.
Ah, they are cutting it. They're cutting the 4, 5, 6 chance away. I
Probably,
wonder why they went with the 6 instead of the 2. Maybe they're just hoping to draw the 3.
yeah, I suspect part of it is also because of the 8 so and the 7 so cut from earlier. There are fewer improvements on the upper side, and even the 5 so draw could lead to some 50-10 chances, so that would be my guess.
Makes sense to me.
Jake
Yishan
really,
10 on the left.
that's Gabriel with. It hasn't been able to call this tune because I think Jake's trying to hold out for the chance at a very late Daisangan.
I don't know about Dai Sangen, but maybe Show Sangen is in the works.
リーチ
Ooh, huge
Oh,
fill.
Ricci. Ricci Ipeko, Dora 1. Oh, but that's a great draw.
At least playing out the Nakasuji 4 Mon. Relatively safe here.
One So Genbutsu, pretty safe.
Oh, there's the tune draw.
Oh, there's the tune finally. Tenpai 4, 4, 7 pin.
Unfortunately, that's what, 3 out already. 2 held in your own hand. Maybe the
Would you
5/8's
swap?
better.
I think that 5, 8 would have been better.
Yeah, probably a better weight, but then you have to risk cutting the 4 pin, which isn't necessarily. It's a kind of safe actually. It's one chance because you can see 3 5 pins. So it's a tough call if you're willing to take a risk or if you want to play the Suji 8 pin.
Oh, what an
Oh,
interesting draw. What would you do?
ロン
Oh, and she deals in.
it's tempting with Ricci pin or with not Ricci but Pinfu Dora 2 potential Tanya as well for a Mangan, but the thing is there's only one draw left, so the chance that you actually get to win that hand is relatively low. I'm always intrigued by those situations where you're really only playing for the Ryukyoku points, whether it's worth it to test a dangerous tile. But I think because the 4 so was Nakasuji, even if it was a 7 so Ricci tile, I think it was probably safe enough that um, Elise was willing to try it. It turns out even with 3 held and the Nakasuji trap, it still dealt in.
The Tenpai is such
チ
a alluring prospect, honestly. Just like the idea, just maybe one more chance to get even more points. Because right now Elise is pretty solidly in first, and she definitely was at 60,000 points. And if she wants to really try and give herself some more wiggle room for later in the league, she really wants to try and get that bonus points now when she can,
Mm,
which is already up.
for sure. Dealer has opened up with a Honitsu play, which is certainly, as we mentioned before, a great way to pick up some value. I'm really most interested in the hand to the left. It was opening up for Tanya, but then paired up the Dora. So I'm trying to think of a way to be able to use the Dora and still win the hand.
Maybe 4, 5, 6 Sanshoku with what she has already opened and use Adora as the pair. It's a little bit far with some Hail Mary draws, but I'm not really quite sure what else you would do with this unless you have a miracle Haku pair up and pawn.
I think Elise is playing for both of those options right now. Here's the
チ
decision point. Okay, it's just a Tanya.
Maybe she's like, I'm not dealer anymore. Might as well try and win quick 1,000 hand end the game.
Yeah, there is a bit of a gap on second place, but there's always a threat of them catching up with something like a Haneman Sumo. And even if you can see where all the Dora are, there's still a chance. I mean, as is, Gabriel is building towards some like Junchan Sanshoku nonsense. That certainly is the
The
type of value this
beautiful
has.
hand.
Ooh, do we call? Okay, we're gonna cheapen the hand, and now Elise really doesn't have to worry about too much from that hand anymore. It's difficult for an open hand like that to be a Mungan. Even Junchan Sanchoku is still just 3 Han.
Isn't that such a like it's like robbing you, I feel like. Oh,
It's
and then
back.
there's the third West.
Well, Elise can see where all the Dora are.
Not threatened at the slightest for her first place, at least for this immediate hand.
Yeah, right now her only real concern is Jake's hand, the dealer Onitsu.
It is still Ishan hand. He needs to find a connector tile to either the 2-pin or the 7-pin.
It's got to run dry on the pin draws, and no one's really discarding any pins too, for good reason.
Oh, we gotta hope that the connector that dealer draws is to the 7-pin and not to the
リーチ
2-pin, or else they would deal in. Oh, and we found a Ricci for another Ipeco Kanchan. Wait, on the 5-pin.
No 5-pin live, so it would have to be discarded. Richie,
It
Tonyo,
looks pretty
Ipeko.
sure
That's
in
true.
everyone's name.
Oh, this is going to be... Has to be a call.
Hmm.
And then the 7-pin, surely.
チ
There it goes.
Gabriel's going to rob the win away Junchan for 2,000 points, and the Ricci stick will confirm a solid second place.
Plus 19 second place. Can't complain with that. I've seen first places that are smaller than that.
Indeed, I would be absolutely thrilled with a plus 19.4, and Gabriel will continue to climb in the standings after that. It is, at least though, the big winner, 40.2 points, will also be jumping up very close to even to surpassing Gabriel despite that win. JT will take a small third place and Jake the slightly larger fourth place, but the the kind of monster run from Gabriel and the big wins from Elise really carrying the day here.
Absolutely. Very exciting game for the first game of the night.
And we have much more to come. Let's take a look and see what else is going on. Is there a game starting soon? Indeed, we've got about 3 minutes to go before the next one is slated to begin. Of course, we're also anticipating at the top of the hour more games starting around the league. I think I saw in the schedule there was a 2 table with Amy, Kenyon, Garrick, and Christine. There's an
That
A.
sounds so exciting.
I almost want to hold out until that game starts because that sounds fantastic. There's also an A1 table with Jonathan, Max, Matthias, and Dustin. I just finished my series against Max. He had a pretty great run, and so
So I've heard.
I'm interested in watching that as well. But oh, there's also another. There's what 2 more tables? B2 table with Vinny, Dylan, Garth, and Jeffrey. Always fun to watch Garth play. Have you gotten the chance to play against any of the JPML pros in the league?
I have. So I started the same season that Garth and Jen started. So I've got to play against them several times, but then Jen has completely run away from us.
That's true.
Garth has, I think I played against him maybe 3 times, but unfortunately, 2 of the times there were some technical difficulties. So I do feel a bit robbed by that.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm still eagerly awaiting my chance.
I think one of the craziest things that I remember playing against Jen was she did end up getting that Junshan Sanshoku Richi closed Epop Sumo
Oh my goodness.
after um after discarding a nicer Tenpai. She ended up having, I don't remember exactly what the weight was, but she cut a ramen weight to wait for the Kanchan to guarantee the Junshan and the Sanshoku. And it definitely paid off.
Richipatsumo Junshan Sashoku Baimon? Crazy. I always end up going for Junshan Sanchoku as my like all last win condition sort of hand Because I think, oh, I need a Hanuman. Hopefully I open up with, Tanyao, Pinfu, Sanchoku, with Akas, and my high pitch just ones and nines. Okay, Juchan Sanchoku it is.
I guess we go with that. If it's just ones and nines, though, then you can go for the bigger ones and nine hand.
Yeah, I've only been Isha from Chinoto, the all ones and nines. Have you ever won that?
I have never won a Chinroto. I have won a Honroto, which is the all honors plus all ones and nines, but I've never gotten just the ones and nines.
Yeah, it's we saw Honroto fairly recently. I think it was last night. It was Edwin pulling off
Oh,
Honitsu, Toy Toy, Honroto, Yakuhai, I think, yeah, it was Honitsu, Yakuhai, Honroto, Toy Toy for Baimon. And
that
he
is
ended up
insane.
coming back in a massive way in that game and winning it.
You know what they say? Like, maybe a Tano ends it all, but a Baimon's all you need.
Yeah, I usually hear the first part of that phrase, not the second part. Yeah, that I think yes, it was yesterday. There were three different Baimons. One was that Hiroto Toy Toy, and then there was a like a turn five closed Chinitsu three-sided weight and
Oh my
a double Richi Honitsu Chitoi that got sumoed for the Baimon as well. That one was crazy.
Double reach, Honitsu Chitoi.
Like
What wall gods did you like pray to get that extra high pie?
you look
I
at
would
the
love to know.
right? You look at the high pie and you think, ah, this is going to be a Honitsu. I can call my, South Yakuhai and call my East Yakuhai. And then the Richi button pops up and you're like, wait, excuse me? I'm just Tenpai?
Well, well, actually, unfortunately, so I think WGs are insane in the first place, but people have taught me to look at it. It's just a sad way of getting one away from Chihode.
That's true. You could have been Tenho.
Could have been Tenho, could have been Chitoi, but just a double reach. That's a great debate, though, that I have been kind of hearing here and there every tournament. Would you take a double Ricci on a bad weight that's easily upgradable? Or would you just take the double Ricci?
Mm. I had a situation recently where um, it was all last, and I was in first place with like 29,700. This was a ladder game, so I needed to get to 30K for the win. And
Gotcha.
I had double Ricci on 7 Mon Penchon. I said,
Oh,
this is not good enough. I can so easily improve my weight. So I didn't take the double Ricci. And like 5 turns later, my Kamecha declares Ricci. And I thought I absolutely threw the game, but I drew Tenpai the next turn and jammed and we ended up double roning somebody. We both won the hand, but I had a slight lead on them. So even though I didn't Ricci, I managed to get the first. After the game, I looked in the wall, and all of my sevens were either locked up in the Ricci hand or they were dead walled. So my double Ricci was not going to work.
would have never won.
So I
Wow.
used that to tell myself that you don't have to take the double reach, but I think realistically, I was probably supposed to.
Sometimes that intuition, you just know you don't need that double Ricci.
It
You can do better.
ended up working out quite well.
This is actually a very large league. I never realized how big C2, C1 was. Is there more than 24 players, or is it just
Oh yeah,
it is 24 players?
this is just a little more than half of the players. We can't even fit all of them onto the screen.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
I think there's something like 40 players. Let me check the standings page
I
because
remember 24 and B2 at one time, and that was pretty big for that league.
yeah, there are actually 40 players in C1, a crazy amount of players, and that is um, due in large part to a bunch of new players joining the league at the end of last season. So it was really exciting to see so many people joining the server, hopping into the what would you do channels and asking around about the mechanics of the league. And maybe since we've got a little bit of time here before our next game starts, we can let all the viewers who are watching know that if you want to join for the next season in the fall, you certainly have time to do so, as is it begins. When is that deadline? I know it's going to scroll here at the bottom in a second, but I think the deadline to
Sign up
register
for
is in
fall
September.
season.
Yeah, September 16th is the deadline to register, and then the season actually begins a couple weeks later. So plenty of time to register for that upcoming season. But if you register now, you can even uh, join the server a little bit earlier and actually participate in all the cool resources that we have. You can even act as a substitute player in the league. Every now and then we have a need for that. So if you want to test out how the action is in the American Richi Mahjong League, you can absolutely register. And you can do so on our website, americanrichi.org. There should be a big sign up page right as the first thing you see.
I think coming in as a substitute player is such a great way to have such a low stakes game and just really see what the league is all about, kind of understanding scheduling, maybe just a little bit, and the challenges of scheduling, but also how fun it is to be part of this community, being in that Discord channel. And, when everyone's geeking out about it, what would you do? It's very amazing, kind of surreal for sure.
Yeah, I that's actually my favorite thing in this channel is just the what would you do, because everyone posts not just games from Armel, but all sorts of conditions, ladder games, league games, tournament games, just scenarios where there are lots of good options, and it's hard to determine what the best move is. And then you get people responding, people who I really respect, whose opinions I really respect, responding, and you don't really have this opportunity many other places. So definitely love that feature.
Kitty Catastrophe says, "Can I get a ticket to C2 if I make negative 400?" I don't know if that's possible. Has there been a negative 400 quite yet
I
in the
think
history of the league?
maybe in the inaugural session we've had a I don't know. I can't even
I've
remember.
seen
It's
some
been so
negative
long ago.
300s.
Yeah, yeah. You could do it. You can make. There's double promotions now for the C1 and B3 divisions, but I don't think we have double demotions. I don't think that will ever happen. Rest assured. Or maybe that's unfortunate if you really want to get that C2 ticket.
If you really want to be in the inaugural C2 league, we can see what can happen. Anything is possible.
Yeah, but incidentally, I did get word that we are having a game start in 2 minutes. So it will be that A2 table, Kenyon, Christine, Amy, and Garrick. I cannot wait. In fact, let me go ahead and swap the standings around so we can take a look at what the division looks like there.
So excited.
Of course, this table is absolutely stacked. Every single one of these players in A2 has played in A1 at least one season and multiple seasons, in fact, for a lot of these players. Oh, I should say, except for Christine, but she's been making her run in A2 for that promotion to A1. So hopefully we get to see that this season.
I think Christine is honestly a phenomenal player. I think she makes some really sound decisions and she has really good push fold mechanic. So I am very excited to watch this. Amy, a little bit down on her luck at the current moment, but there's still lots of games in the season. Super easy to swap places. Garrick currently in third. However, he did mention that he was feeling a bit under the weather, so I hope that does not affect the play today.
Oh, yeah. Hoping for peak performance. Garrick recently hit 6 down on Tenho, so that's a nice achievement for him. Of course,
I should ladder on Tenho more.
yeah, actually, Garrick laddering up to 6 dan has been one of the reasons that I started playing more Tenho.
Really? Have you been watching his streams? I know he sometimes streams in this Armel Discord.
Yeah, basically every night or every other night there's a Garrick stream, and I'm always sitting backseating him, watching his watching his play. It's been so much fun, and you can only watch for so long before you just want to queue up a game yourself.
That's the danger of watching a mahjong stream because you're like, I'm just gonna watch a little bit. And then all of a sudden you're 3 kanchans in and it's 4 hours later and you're like, what the heck happened? How'd I get here? It's 3 a.m. right now.
It looks like we did just get the game start in, so let's turn on the volume and let's get this
Very
underway. Game 3 out of 4 for the series. They played the first two not too long ago. I think Christine took a marginal positive after the first two games. Garrick also with a marginal positive. It'll be Kenyon in the first dealer seat, Christine to the right, Amy across the table, and Garrick on the left. Garrick with his patented call and go method.
I mean, Hatsudora won, might as well. Starting off very strong.
But Kenyon not too far behind Ishanten, although with this awkward 8-9 pin penchant. How about we just fill that?
Never mind, just fill it. So what would you reach on? Would you take the Shabo or the Kan 7 so?
I would either
Is
slam
also
the
the
8 so for the Ricci tile, or I would break Tempai and Dama. Or not Dama, but break the Tempai, because you've got two Yonenke shapes, which are really tremendously improvable. This 2, 3, 4, 5 and the 3, 4, 5, 6. You expect to find a good
now you can
Tempai.
go Tanyao. Quick Tanyao shift. Almost any lower Manzu will get you back into Tempai.
Yep, and even if we draw something like the Tuso, the Furiten Tuso, it's still 3-sided.
Reach.
Well, we got our 3-sided weight. It's the same as Garrick's, but better.
Will we see a double Ron?
Oh,
That's a great way to start East 1.
yeah, that's a tough to expect because the Tuso is the door indicator. I don't think anyone wants to drop that. Now, if you declare reaching, you don't have a choice, so be it.
Although an Anko of 5 so locked up across the way in Amy's hand.
She's definitely going to try to use that alongside the Dora.
A 4 so draw would be probably ideal for her.
Absolutely. I think you'd have to slam something like a 3-mon Ricci if you drew that.
That's probably what I would do as well.
Ooh.
Oh, Garrick draws another Dora, increasing the value of his hand.
No! Oh, that's sad. And Kenyon stands
Well,
alone
you don't
here.
want to draw Dora in. You don't want to drop Dora to do
No,
Ricci,
absolutely.
so I do understand the swap.
It made perfect sense, but it backfired horrifically. Garrick was like, if I only drew any other tile than this Dora, except for I guess the 5 so and the 8 so, but 12,000 points for Kenyon. Great way to start this game off.
Absolutely. I was almost going to say Garrick should now go Honitsu here, but then he just filled in that 1, 2, 3 shape. So now it's just how fast can I discard these honor tiles?
Yeah, we'll see you in at the end of row 1, Garrick.
See, Kenyon has decent shapes, really nice 7-pin fill once again.
I guess 7 pin is Kenyon's lucky tile today.
I'd sure say so. Although Amy across the way is Ishanten. Or maybe Ricci Pinfu gets the right tile. Or am I missing a pair somewhere? No, I
So you
think.
got it, yeah, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be this awkward Tonki situation. You could slam the Ricci on the 9, but I think she's gonna wait for a better.
Many upgradable shapes here.
Yeah, Ricci, even if it's likely to win, waiting on the 9 mon, it's still only one Han, and you can draw a Dora, you can draw Jiamen for Pinshu.
Best weight does not take it.
It is her Yaku, her sequence, so maybe not as strong as the 9 mon. Alright, decision time,
Garrett
Garrick.
takes a Hatsu.
Will pass.
Oh, he passes.
He wanted the Shabu weight.
And he got it.
It's funny, his two winners came out the 2 turns before.
Maybe someone will think it's safe now. Although this is A2, so people do play a bit more cautiously. Nice Ramen fill for Kenyon. Almost, oh, never mind. I was going to say almost Itsu if she can draw that 4-pin, but never mind. And Amy finds that upgrade that she was looking for.
Ooh. The West looked pretty safe against this non-West player, but it just sniped away with the extra Ricci stick. It's back over 20,000 points at least.
And now it's Christine's dealership.
Hype-wise, we're holding one of the Dora, which is a little awkward because we've got 3 other pairs. Oh, but now we pair it up again. 4 pairs.
That's
and
a great hand. Don't know if anyone will drop it, but right now there's none in anyone else's hands, so it is still in the wall.
Oh
Ooh, an
my.
Anko of the 6 mod. We're just flying.
And given how strong other players' hands are, I mean, there is a decent chance that it comes out. I think Amy is already Shantan. And Garrick has so many pairs in his hand, he might find it difficult to use the door as well. More inside
It could go
info.
Cheetoy, though.
Right, but
Because
Garrick
of
hates
the
Cheetoy.
5 pairs. He does hate Cheetoy. I am aware of this.
He's with a burning passion, so maybe less likely to make use of the Dora.
Kenyon getting more shapes more filled shapes at the moment. That's a nice draw.
So
Fills in that 6, 7, 8. So
we've seen multiple times now for Amy this awkward tempai that she doesn't really want to reach.
well, if she didn't reach in Garrett Delton on that 6-pin, or sorry, Kenyon Delton on that 6-pin, that would have been quite sad.
Okay, waits one turn.
It's a classic.
Maybe thinking I should have oh no, the
Oh
epoxy wall.
no!
Yeah, so maybe she was thinking maybe I should have broken with the 5-pin cut or the 7-pin cut and held the 7, and then once she drew the 7 into what would have been a better tempo, she said, "Ah, this is a sign I just need to slam the Ricci now."
And it immediately backfired and would have drawn that Haku.
Well, now this is preventing Garrick from fighting because he has just drawn the Dora, so both of the Hatsu pulled in, and Christine can no longer easily find that.
Still a very easy way to Christina get to Tempai, though. She could draw another 1-pin or 2 so.
Yeah, I imagine she'll definitely try to fight. Now that the 4-pin has come up and the 2-pin has been discarded so many times, you gotta think the 1-pin's pretty safe. A player's still cutting Genbutsu, but if they're not dropping the 1-pin soon, you're kind of expecting it to be in the wall.
That just passed. 3 mana safe.
Okay, so Garrett's going to try to play for this a little bit. North Call, hoping to get the East as well, and then maybe Tonki in the door in the future. Garrick likes to play all the hands.
Well, there's the East. Six mana is safe, so if Christine wanted to, she could cut 6/6.
Oh, this is
Maybe she'll
Tempai.
play her hand.
but it's 50-10.
Would also need to cut Dora.
Right.
Keep it.
Too much to ask, and you will just break with a 7-pin.
Oh no. All right, that's all the sixes. Looks like Amy's weight is dead.
Yeah, there's still hope she can win, and that is if Christine pulls in that 1-pin or 2 solo. She'll absolutely take the tempai. It looks like that's not going to happen. Oh, Garrick
Like no one.
thinking, but not going to take the tempai.
Nope. Amy, the only one tempai, will take that nice 3,000 points and her dealership.
Yeah, honestly, that's just as good as winning the hand. There's a Richinomi, and you got 2,000 points instead of 1,300. Again, the Hatsu is the Dora.
Pong.
But this time, no one starts with a pair, although Amy does have one. Quite an awkward way to start.
I think from the games we've seen so far this season, Amy really likes to hold on to this Dora for as long as possible.
The chances of like the potential of pairing it up
Gee.
and even just using Dora pair in a version of Mahjong that has no red fives just adds so much value that I cannot blame her for wanting to hold this Dora.
Garrick's back on the call and go plan. Isha then looking for a potential Chanta in addition to the South call.
I'm sure 2-pin would be his preferred tile, but I don't doubt he would pass up a 5 if it came out.
For sure. Especially because, he could change around his Tonki to whatever he wants, including Dora. I'm sure he'd be very happy to do.
Oh, that was an interesting draw. The 6-pin decides to toss it out, keep that Chanta alive.
Yeah, there's this interesting idea of whether it's worth it to force one extra Han out of this, going from 1,000 points to 2,000 points, as opposed to just taking the better weight. I think, like classically speaking, you're supposed to, or you're generally suggested to take the wider shape, and then you can still work your way towards the Chanta later. But
Definitely. If he kept the 6-pin, would have been Tempai now, but it is too late. We're
here,
back on
yeah,
the
multiple.
potential Chanta.
Unfortunately, the 8-pin's cut twice, but there's still one more. You can think about working your way there, and this will work as well.
Gee.
Is there going to be a cheat? Yes, there will.
Now, Amy has been holding this 2-pin, I think, for the 1-2-3 Sanchoku chance. Oh, pairs it up. So that's going to prevent the
That's the
dealing.
8-9. Last 2-pin is in Christine's hand. Pretty solidly in there, especially if she draws that 3. Oh, that 1-2-3 Sanchoku might be more tempting now with that 1-pin draw.
Oh, and Christine gets the perfect fill for Richie Tanyao Pinfu Ipeiko.
Amazing.
Amy kind of trapped with the Hatsu now. Very difficult to play this hand. She'll try to back away now. And Garrick, frozen. All the 2-pins are being held, so he's in an extremely vulnerable position.
I think the only thing that he could do if he was still trying to push would maybe be pushing or getting the last 1-pin and hoping someone else deals in. Oh, there is no one more 1-pins. They're all in people's hands. So yeah, he's completely tied up.
Yeah, very difficult spot. Almost, oh, yeah, Yeah, not gonna be called here. Fortunately for Garrick, there's only one winning tile left in the wall, so statistically unlikely that he draws it. But there's the Dora. Big questions posed. He'll go 3-1. Hope to call the 9-pin Sotogawa. And wait Tonki on the Dora.
There's still 2 Dora in the wall. So drawing that is not impossible. Never mind, cuts the 9-pin, which does look relatively safe.
I am a little surprised that he went with a 9-pin, but the 1-4 pin may be just too dangerous here because he can't see all the 2s. Only Amy can see the 2s. So yeah, the 1-4 pin does look worse from his perspective.
There's a 6-pin being drawn. Doesn't look great. They push the Kenyon will push the 1-pin.
Yeah, I think she had a chance to cut this 4-pin or 7-pin for Tempai, but thought that looked a little bit rough.
Too dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, if it did win, right, you're losing that 1,000 points, which is potential, I don't know, 12,000, 8,000 points.
Right. You know what? We saw this situation earlier
Pong.
where the dealer maintained the Tempai. Of course, the tile they had to push was a little bit safer than the 4-pin or the 7-pin, so slightly different situation, but nice to accumulate more data on this type of situation, see how Armo players react to it.
Especially in different leagues as well.
Well, some really exciting hands around the table, starting with Garrick. Ricci Pinfu Itsudora looks amazing. Would you?
I almost want him to take the Chinitsu, but never mind. Scratch that. Just draw another Dora.
I think I prefer cutting the Formon here, just to keep the Itsu alive and you can still draw this. Oh, actually, maybe it's better not to wait around the Dora. I mean, just lock up the Dora pair. I think I'm changing my mind.
There is definitely Itsu chance is definitely still alive. Will he take it? Itsu Dora 2 takes it.
Yeah, this is. I wonder if there's any draw that convinces them to go to Chinitsu.
G.
I think now that Kenyon really looks Honitsu, he might not make that play because the 5-so is not a good tile to drop against a Sozu Honitsu.
Ricci.
Definitely not. Oh, we have a Ricci from Christine on what looks like the 2-5-so, which is almost all locked up. You have 1 2-so, 1 5-so remaining in the wall. Garrick's still pushing for this hand.
Yeah, Kenyon had the 1-so to discard, not really losing that many tiles of acceptance. Cutting the 1-so, you only lose the 3-so. So she's still trying to play for this as well.
Oh, what will Garrick do? Decides to shift the weight now. Breaking Tempai, but can still get back into it. Also has another safe tile in the 8-pin.
Here's Tempai again, waiting on Genbutsu's 7-pin. Hope doesn't take it though.
See, will Amy push a tile to take this roundman? Decides 6-so looks safer than 3-so.
Perhaps with the early 9-7 cut.
That would have been 5 6 7 Sanchoku potential though, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily convinced that the 6-so is much safer than the 3, but I think she was holding for 3 for 5 momentarily, actually. But now the 3-pin's gone. I wonder if Garrick noticed that the 6-so passed, or if he's trying to rebuild around the Sozu. Oh,
When I was waiting for a 3-pin that's fully dead.
G.
And he can see that, actually, because they're all out on the table.
Amy waiting on the door as
Plus,
well.
Hatsu is not a tile I would want to push against potential Honitsu, but Kenyon doesn't take it and decides to cut Hatsu.
Interesting. Can you not making the K10 play? I mean, you can actually win the hand if you call the Hatsu, but it doesn't like the one pin. Maybe the lower Pinzu looks bad enough against Garrick, but it is cleared by Garrick.
And now she's kicking herself.
Yeah.
The one pin was safe?
つも
Oh!
Oh, but Garrick Sumo's on the last five, though!
Last five, so last draw. Itsu, Dora 3, the Haite Sumo.
Insane. With that, what was almost, what was that? Itsu, Dora 3, Haite. Holy mackerel.
12,000 points for Garrick, and all right, 2 players over 30k. We've got a fight on our hands.
For being East 4, the points are actually remarkably quite close. First and fourth place, all separated by just about 10,000 points at the moment. It is still anyone's game.
Do
We
not,
have lots of love for Garrick in the chat right now.
do not question the genius that is Garrick. Somehow he always seems to find a way. Kenyon, though,
I agree.
cooking a little bit here in the Pinzu.
Kenyon also has, if she draws a very lucky Haku, potential Soshangen Daisangen chance.
And you know what? All the dragons are in the wall.
ポン
There's one.
She can't possibly know that all the Haku are there. But if she draws one, I imagine she'll hold on to it over the one pin.
There's one Haku in Garrick's hand. She gets one.
Okay, we're dreaming a little bit. Let's think.
チ
I think
Hey,
your next advancement, unless it's the Haku draw itself, you have to cut it. She needs to get that Haku very soon. Ooh, do we see a
カ
Khan?
ン
we do see a
Oh
Khan.
my goodness!
Flips them. Flips himself Dora 2 with that draw.
Not only
Gets
did
into Tenpai.
not only did she make the Force of Adora, that was also the Rinshan draw. So she's got manga and Tenpai now.
This is the Amy that I know and I'm terrified of.
Oh, the 3 so
This
keeps
is
coming.
it.
But like Pinsu, normally a bad, discard against what Kenyon is showing, but the one pin is the one pin tile that is safe.
Oh, does Kenyon pawn this 4
Pawn.
pin? She takes it and gives up on that Shosangen dream.
つも
Oh, it gives the Tsumo to Amy.
Amy, my goodness.
The last 4, so Tondora 4. We knew this game was gonna have some fireworks.
This is why we watch A2 games. This is the fireworks. And now, first and last place, still just over 10,000 points. But the point situation really hasn't benefited one player significantly more than the other.
Yeah, Kenyon got her early Mongon, Amy's won a couple hands, and Garrick got that huge high Sumo. So it's Christine's turn next. Let's see if the wall... who the wall favors in this round.
Potential Itsu for Christine and Pinzu, if it comes. Although 8 pin might be difficult to get considering there are 3 locked up in people's hands.
Oh, and now 4 even.
Oh, 4.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough ask now.
Unlikely to be able to call it unless she reaches and someone decides to discard.
Yeah, perhaps Garrick with a small advantage in this hand. Those shapes just look really strong. 2 away from
Maybe
Temple.
cutting the 5? Mon, I'm wondering why not cut the east here, maybe wanting a safe tile.
I noticed especially in the East rounds when Kenyon is the dealer, she strongly prefers the double East. Once it hits the South round, the power of the East it becomes lessened because it's only worth your seat wind. However, for that reason, a lot of people just cut the East as early as possible when it gets to the South round. And if you haven't seen it cut, you kind of get this assumption that it's in the wall. And it was indeed. They were all in the wall until Christine drew and discarded one. So I think Kenyon was holding out hope, saying my shapes are strong enough with the 7-7-8 shape and this 3-3-4 pin, the 4-6-6. So strong enough that I don't need the extra acceptance that the 5-mon gives me when I know that there's a tile that's completely live in the wall. And worst
Very
case
nice
scenario,
fill for Garrett.
yeah, worst case scenario,
Sorry,
it's a
go
save
ahead.
tile.
Cut away from a shape and got a shape. Now is decided to get rid of the East. There are still two in the wall, so it would be very painful if she draws another one right after.
Yeah, I think though at Ishanten it's probably the correct time to give it up. Oh, Christine actually drew another one as well.
Garrick's shape's really looking quite nice.
Pon.
And Christine is edging towards Chinitsu. Amy calling.
Chi.
Yeah, this is
Garrick opening up for Tanya, perhaps?
for sure. Takes the 2-5 so wait, and if Kenyon gets improvements, might end up cutting out away from this too. So I think this is one of those hands for Garrick that a lot of players would not call here because there's so much potential
Sumo.
value. But this is Garrick's playstyle. He aims to prevent other people from winning the hands. Amy opening up with the South was a good excuse, I think, in his mind to match the speed and prevent her from winning. He does end up taking the Tsumo. Doesn't change position, but he's still in a good place to take over first place or second place in the coming rounds.
Definitely. And wanting to maintain that over 30,000, since that did just put him, I think, at 30,000. Over 30,000, he was not there before.
Yes. Good point as well as it gets to later rounds. Of course, in this league, if you are over 30,000, you're guaranteed to have a positive score.
Everyone really progressing their hands with these last few draws. Christine with the 7 so fill, and then Amy with the 4-mon, filling an Anko or a Ramen, whatever suits your fancy.
Another great draw for Amy. So she is Ishanten. Again, might get that situation where with an early Tempai that isn't the strongest. We'll see how she chooses to play this.
Interesting shapes across the way for Garrick. Lots of pairs here.
Yeah, I think.
Decides to lock that 8-pin as the pair and look for an improvement on that 3-3-5 shape. Oh,
Ooh.
but maybe now looking at Ipeko.
Yeah, with the 9 pin being twice cut, this 5 so almost forces the Ipeko. I was wondering about cutting the 8 pin earlier when we drew the 5, but this is totally valid. I even wonder about keeping the 1-mon there. Play for a second door acceptance. Hedge a little bit of a Dianpeko.
The dream. Finding another pair, decides to cut that 9, deciding the 4-5-5 shape was just stronger than that 7 penchant.
Although, again, with these pairs, particularly the 8 pin being cut, I almost think it's better to cut the 8 pin and wait for the penchant, even though it's not a good shape. I think this 8 pin as a pair is worse. Oh, that's a good draw. Now he can turn that into a diamond and all of his shapes are fixed.
Christine still looking for Tempai. Really nice shapes, waiting for essentially Richi Pinfu.
Yeah, it's a kind of frustrating place to be when you've got, your shapes are set. You don't need to, you really have no decisions to make in the hand. And you just sit there drawing terminal and honor over and over again. Knowing every second that passes, your weight gets a little bit worse.
Yeah, she is a pretty wide Shanten, 4 tiles. Oh, and there it is.
リーチ
There's one of them.
All right, Ricci pin food, 2-5 pin. 4 tiles live. Most of them are 2 pins as well, which is a little bit relevant. Oh,
ロン
Oh,
Garrett, not willing to take the Ricci, will Dama snipe the Genbutsu Wonso. Missed out on Ipatsu, but he will take over second place, at least, with the bonus Ricci stick.
and that puts Christine in quite a difficult situation if she's trying to get out of 4th place here.
Yeah, a lot of times you're
Very
reliant
nice.
on that dealership.
Nice shapes for Amy here. Almost all her shapes are pretty much set right off the bat.
Yeah, straight away, Shanten. Big question is whether she gets to use this door or not. Oh, it just
She
denies
says
it.
no. She is in 1st place right now, but by a marginal 400 points. So she does want to take any win that she can and not give anyone else value. However, Garrick pairs up the Dora on the right.
I guess that,
1 cut, but that's already quite nice.
yeah, the timing on that Haku cut, impeccable from Amy. But Garrick won't mind so much. I mean, there's still another Haku left to draw, and he is just Ishanten. He'll happily slam any Ricci.
Kenyon draws that last Haku and is holding on to it. Amy missing Tempai with that 7-8 cut just now, but I don't think that was a bad choice.
Maybe Tuso is a little bit better than the 7, so I'm not sure. The boon of the Tuso is that it guarantees Tanyao, whereas the 7 so sometimes gives you, or more frequently gives you Pinshu, I think, but it sometimes gives you makes you lose the Tanyao. And with a 9 so being
We'll
twice
see if
cut,
she
that could
keeps.
be consideration.
So now she discards the Tuso, waiting on a connector tile to the Formon, which also keeps that Tanya shape.
Oh, that's
Will she
Tempai.
take the
リーチ
And Totsu?
and Totsu? 4-mon, 7-mon, and 3-pin. Although 2 7-mons are discarded by Christine, one in her
ポン
hand.
Oh,
Kenyon decides to discard Dora because it's safe, but then Garrick pawns.
uh, Garrick now showing manga, and Amy's got a little
チ
bit
ー
worried, and there's Tempai.
1-mon, no, 1-mon Tonki.
For 8,000 points. Where are the 1-mon?
I see 1 in Kenyon's discard pile and 2 in the wall.
Versus Amy's weight, which has 1 7-mon left, 1 4-mon left, and 1 3-pin left. So 3 versus, well, now Garrick swaps up to the 3 6-pin weight, which is much better.
One 3-pin left. Oh, and there's that 1-mon.
Classic.
Kenyon draws another 6-pin, so 6 pins are no longer available. So Garrick's weight is just that 3-pin. Unknowingly swapped to a much narrower weight.
Yeah, I guess it went from 2 tiles to 2 tiles. Now just 1. Oh, there's the 7.
Oh, incredible. Reads simultaneous. No but she will happily take that 6,000 points.
Breathe a sigh of relief. You shut down what was Garrick's monster hand.
Much better than dealing into 8,000.
For sure. Well, Amy could be thinking about an outside hand now. It's actually a kind of tricky hand to play because you have the Chun pair, which you can open up for 1,500
Boom.
points. And the door is the 4-pin, so it's not going to work with a Chanta type hand. But at the same time, I think you
Could
kind of
have
have to float the idea of Chanta a little.
definitely could have had 789 Sanshoku potential. Cut away from the 8-pin kind of right away.
Yeah, I think maybe you could even consider cutting the 5-pin there, given that we'd already drawn the 2-3
G.
pin. So we still accept the Dora, and we don't give up on the Sanchoku idea. I think 8-pin is the classic cut, though, in a vacuum.
Definitely.
Garrick, though, with 2 calls
Eric,
already, speeding his way towards another cheap hand.
I mean, Tenpai for 7-pin. Although one is in Kinyan's hand, 3 are live.
つも
And finds one of them. So that will be sending us to all last in what's been a terrific game so far. The situation now, Garrick looking for 6,400 points to tie for first place. Of course, if he does win the hand, there will be another one. On the right, Kenyon needs 2,800 for second place and 9,200 for first, which means she can sumo a Mongon and take first place. And Christine has a goal not just to surpass Kenyon for third, but also, as a small victory, you can make sure that at least one player is below 30,000 points to prevent losing an extra 5 points of UMA for being the only one below 30k. So that's the goals for everybody. Hypie not necessarily
Always
terrific.
exciting and all that. No, I think we have a lot of Manzu over in Kinyan's hand, but not too many are super connected. You have the 1, 2, 3 shape, pair of 4s, pair of 9s.
Yeah, big
Eric
loss.
pairing up that line.
Oh, sorry, a big loss for her was getting that south pair up a turn too late. The second south had just come out from Garrick, so she cannot get the double non here. I think she might try to aim for a Honitsu Chitoi as a way to get Mongon.
A closed. Oh, will she take it? Decisions here, because a closed Honitsu
本
with the Ricci is still a Mangon, but no, she decides to take it. Maybe she will swap to a full Shinitsu if the tiles come to her.
Oh man, if she passed, she would have drawn the Hatsu for Ishanten. A tough choice to make because that was the last 9, so she either takes this and goes for the second place or even, yeah, I guess she's aiming for second place with this call. Kind of Honitsu only. With somewhat weak shapes, or she continues to go the Chitoi path that can even take first. And she had to make that decision right there. There's no going back afterwards.
Although now it seems kind of sad that she hasn't drawn a single Manzu tile since that pawn.
And even if she gets the 4-mon or 7-mon into Tempai, again, that south can't be used as anything more than a
There's that
pair.
7.
That's a big win.
Waiting for Mon.
I wonder if she cuts the
Oh,
south here. One, oh, she's going for it all. Okay.
she's greeting. I love this.
Pawn into Tempai?
Kenyan taken. Pawn. Yes.
Oh
There you
no.
go.
Tanki 3-mon for
3.
Chinitsu.
G.
Again, she had the choice to just take the Honitsu only by cutting the 1-mon there, but she's going for it all. Last 3-mon held by Garrick.
Unfortunately, once again,
Oh, he
the
dropped
3
it!
Mon. Oh,
Chinitsu
and
for
comes out.
Chinitsu for King is going to be 8,000 points. Not enough to take over first, but she
But enough
will.
to take over second.
Big win for Kenyon, and also a big win for Christine, who gets saved as Garrick dips below 30,000 points. It will only be a minus 28.8 for her. Garrick takes the negative 9.6 second. That Mongon and all last, that greedy play wins for Kenyon plus 13.6. And Amy closes out on top plus 24.8.
That really changes the standings at least a little bit, considering Christine and Garrick were the big winners yesterday. And then Kenyon and Amy have now swapped the places.
That's true. We can take a look at the updated standings. Garrick drops down to third place, Christine down to fifth. And we can see Amy making ground and moving up as well, away from that relegation zone. Of course, this early in the season, we don't really look too closely at that. It's still incredibly tightly contested in A2. I'm kind of used to someone jumping out way ahead at the start of A2 and then slowly falling back towards the rest of the pack at the end of the season. But right now, it's Stanley who's atop the standings at 111.7. No, not, plus
We'll
200.
happily watch him drop down to the regular pack.
Well, we'll see. Lots more games to happen. He's locked in for the season. Beechin has games to play. I think he's playing later on in the week, maybe a
Yushin
Friday.
also doing quite well. 3 firsts with 1 second, no fourths.
Yeah, I think
Very
it's
much a ladder style.
the Friday game that he's playing. It's Beechin and Rachel against Harrison and Kevin, two
Oh my.
two PML players against two DC Ricci Club members. I'm very excited to see who
It
wins
will
that battle.
be a battle of the coast. I would love to watch that one.
Hopefully, we get the opportunity to broadcast that game.
I always love a inner club battle. So much to root for.
Oh, it looks like the next game did begin, and I did not get the alert for it. So, in just a second, we'll be able to tune into the second game of this series. Keep in mind, there's a lot of action happening around the league elsewhere. Two A1 tables playing as well. So I'm very excited to see the results as those come in. We might even be able to catch the second game of Korak's series in once this game finishes.
Wow, Kenyon starting with an Anko of West right off the bat. Did not con, which I think is for the better.
It's very rare that you see a Diamond Con in this type of situation from A2.
Especially not from Kenyon, who tends to be, I wouldn't say a safe player, but a very strategic player.
Yes, for sure. Always love watching Kenyan strategery happening.
Very nice draw for Garrick, cutting away from one pin, maybe.
Yeah, as expected, playing for the Tanyao. Also has a chance at getting 678 Sanchoku, which I'm really excited to see.
Maybe that's why that 6 is still there.
Yeah, for sure. If you're going to cut away from a pair like the one pin, you definitely need to be floating good tiles. So 4-pin floater, 6-pin, 6-mon floater, definitely going to be
Oh,
instrumental in this hand.
also just noticed that 2 pin is Dora. Garrick has 2, which might also be another reason. Trying to get a very fast hand. Tanya Dora 2.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, especially in ladder games, if you've got a pair of Dora, you're really incentivized to speed your hand up with calls. And well, now you've got Dora 3, so you're certainly looking to take any call possible. Oh, not any possible call, but any call that improves your hand.
Like
Ooh,
that one. That's a great tile.
I'm a little.
Call 8 pin pawn, 8 so pawn, or 7 so.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised at the 4-pin cut because we lose the 3-pin chi.
Maybe sees more potential in drawing something around that 6 mon.
Yeah, it surely must be the case. Oh, that's
リーチ
Tempai. Multi-sided. Get the Entotsu here.
Oh, 3 6 8 so. Pretty wide. 6 so is in Amy's hand. 2 3 so are out. 1 8 so in Christine's
リーチ
hand. So,
Well, we're going to see a chase from
oh, we
Amy.
have
Kenyon.
Kenyon draws the deal and tile, decides to fold with the west, west, west.
So it's overlapping weight 5-8 so for Amy. So 8-8 so would be a double roll, and so Kenyon doing well to just back away from this. Notice she's cutting the 4-pin here and not the west again. Still thinking about the possibility of fighting with a Chitoy.
4 pairs, it
つも
is possible. Hail Mary. Oh, but never mind. Amy will just draw the Tsumo.
Oh, gets the Uda as well.
Or Mangan.
Always after a hand like this, I question, if I'm in Garrick's seat, I question myself. Should I have Dama that for Tanya Dora 3?
Nah, not East 1.
Yeah, and then I hear Korak's voice. What don't you know about Ricci? Or what don't you understand about Ricci?
It's the name of the game, people. Someone loves to say, sometimes you just dom out a close-up shop, win real fast. But that's not how you play an East 1, I feel like. That's a South game method. South game strategy.
Yeah, where
Interesting
Ricci...
cutting from that 5. Actually, sorry. On Amy's, she
Mm,
cut 5 before 9. Which I thought was interesting.
yeah, I guess thinking about the 7-pin draw, then you're left with a 5-7-9 shape, which is better. But you lose some... A 4-tile shape is very strong in terms of tile acceptance, so I think it's a little more standard to cut away from the 9. As is, she's managed to work her way towards a Chanta all of a sudden.
Maybe that was the goal all along, and we just couldn't see it initially with that
ポン
5-pin there.
Yeah, finding a way to get some extra value. Speaking of extra value, there's a second door for Garrick, so maybe he gets a second crack at the Ricci door 3.
There is still one more in the wall. It's not impossible.
I wonder
Oh,
if...
that would have been a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shape for Amy. But
I
hindsight is always 2020.
don't think this is the tempai Garrick was looking for.
Dama,
Okay,
Tanya Dora 2.
he'll definitely look for the 2-5-pin to get Tanya Pinshu door
ポン
2, the Mongon.
Christine Tempai for 3, 6-pin.
Or,
One each left.
fortunately for her, we'll never have to deal in with a 3. Oh, but Garrick might have to deal in.
ロン
There it goes. Tanya, 1,500 points, but it does stop him from getting that Tanya Dora 2.
Yeah, so he's had a couple big hands that have got to tempai but haven't won yet. Still looking for that big breakthrough like that Hote Dora 3 that we saw in the other game.
Hote Dora 3. That's insane.
I guess it was Haite, but uh, big Mongon, dealer Mongon nonetheless. Still Christine in the dealer seat. Now accepts
ポン
Dora well.
Pair of Dora across the way in Amy's hand calls that tune just to be able to win whatever she can get a hold of.
And for Amy's...
Canyon. What?
I was gonna say for Amy's blocks, they're kind of locked in now, so her play is going to be very straightforward. The question is, can she get a toy toy? Because at this point, any good floaters in the other suits will just have to be discarded. You're just playing for the blocks that you have currently, and she might have an interesting decision as to which way to take in the future.
ポン
Here in
She'll take
particular,
that.
so if you're in Amy's seat and you draw a 6-pin, are you cutting the 2-pin or are you gonna hold the Diancon shape?
I'd absolutely cut the 2-pin. I would definitely go for the toy for the value.
Yakuhai Toy Toy Dora 2 is Mongon. If you get the third Dora, though, that's Hanemon.
In a league like this, I feel like you have to take the potential wins when you can get them. And this is, Hanaimans happen here and there, but they're not every single hand. And if you don't take those chances, even if you deal in, you're never going to go anywhere, I feel like.
Yeah,
Although I'm also a very aggressive player. So take that with what you will.
no, I think that's a good point. I remember when I first joined the league, I hadn't really played Akanashi before. I hadn't played most of these players before. I had a bit of a slow start because I wasn't taking as many opportunities. Um, I wasn't taking all the opportunities that I had. And there's a right time to fold away and play conservatively, but most of the times it's pretty good to just fight for what you can when you have that chance.
Kinyan has all of
Lychee.
the 3 pins in her hand right now.
Has two choices for the weight.
Decides to take the 4-7, which is locked up in Garrick's hand, but Garrick also would love a 3-pin that will never come to him now. And now Amy has to be careful, despite having 2 Dora. She has also called twice.
Yeah, it was also interesting from Kenyon because she had the chance to con and still reasonable shapes as well. So that was a really, really funny decision. Against the Ricci, though, Amy will try to Mawashi a little bit here, cut away the safer one mon, and still be Ishantan.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but right after Kinyan Richu, Garrick drew a 7-pin and Amy also drew one, making her weight much more narrow than she would have liked. I think the 4s are completely dead with 1 7-pin remaining.
So at this point, Kenyon probably be happy to let this go to Ryukyoku. Just collect the no-tin payments there. Well, found the 7 pin.
She has
Certainly.
somehow made it back into 2
Oh, that's not good. Does she dare take this Tempai?
No.
no, she did.
With two
And that
door.
will be Canyon's win.
Hmm. For so the Uda indicator, yeah. With two door, it's really tempting to take the Tempai, even if there's only what 3 discards left, because the Ricci player had to discard one of them. Uh, Unfortunately, with all the 3 pins held, the hand never had a chance to win.
Very unfortunate. That's that same argument, right? 1,500 points to whatever potential Ricci value.
Yeah, we're seeing this show up a lot, and 2 out of 3 times we've seen the Tempai taken, and both times it dealt it.
Maybe that's a lesson for anyone watching. Maybe Ryukoku 1,500 points isn't as worth it as you might think. We have a pretty unhelpful shape across the way at Kenyon's hand. Everyone else seems to be doing okay. Christine having quite a few penchant weights.
Yeah, I
And
think.
Garrick probably flipping to Tanyao, most likely.
Well, he sees this 8
Or
so and starts to think about 7, 8, 9.
that's value.
Yeah, that it's a little tricky with the 9 so having come out twice. I think he'll. Oh, oh! I thought he might go the 9 first. If you're gonna cut this block, we definitely want to keep the 6, 7, 8 chance alive because that's still callable for Tanyo.
See, I think I would have cut the 2-mon there just in case potential Itsu. Obviously, Garrick knows what he's doing since he just drew a 3-mon.
Yeah, of course. I think Garrick also would have hedged the Itsu as well, outside the fact that the 2 was the Dora. But definitely a good consideration when you've got that 8, 9 penchant to think about building into the lower side for the Itsu. I feel like that's one of the Yaku that's
Home.
missed the most.
What is this called again when you're only available to win on 1 tile?
The Atosuke.
Atozuke on 6-pin.
Oh, there's the 9.
Deals in, but not quite, not really. Although the Kenyan's hand has made remarkable progress from what it started at. Drew quite a few pairs.
Yeah, here,
Amy drawing another 6-pin.
fortunately, we'll be able to keep that. I mean,
home,
there it is. Garrick was itching to get off of this Atosge. Now has Tonki 8 pin for Tanya Dora 3, 12,000 points.
Would love to draw this 7 Mon,
Oh,
honestly.
three-sided weight, fantastic.
Swap to 2 Sao Tonki. We'll swap to any Tonki, I think.
Yeah, I think if I was one of the other players at this table, I would think that Garrick is playing a toy toy. Oh, the 6-pin.
No!
Oh, he switches to it. This is
Garrick's revenge against the 6-pin.
this is classic Garrick, because why would you cut a 7-8 and be waiting on the 6? No one would do that, except for Garrick.
home,
Except for Garrick. I think Kenyan is. Oh, I thought Kenyan would also try to go maybe Toy Toy, but goes instead for the Honitsu.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, but that is too good. 14736.
Even though we can't win the one, we don't care. We've got,
G,
I guess it's really just 4, 6, 7 because we can see all the 3s. Oh, there's the 4.
Oh, there it is.
We're going to be exchanging placements. And Kenyan also had just gotten Tempai as well. It would have been a Garrick Sumo if not for that call. Instead, it forces Amy to deal in, and we're going to say right here with Garrick at 38.5, the only player over 30k.
What an exciting match so far.
Yeah, all that Tonki swapping ended up getting the super wide weight.
That's Garrick.
And we're just in East 3. So I'm anticipating a few more lead changes. Or if there's not lead changes, at least there's going to be some monster by Garrick. It looks like right now he's building towards a 1-2-3 Sanchoku. I remember when I first started watching Garrick play, he always seemed to build a Chanta out of nowhere. I don't know if he'll be able to manage it this time around, but he's definitely thinking about it with a 6-mon cut.
I see a world where Chanta exists, and that would include drawing another 1-mon or 1-pin.
Ooh, Chanta Sanshoku Ipeiko? Sign me up.
That's pretty good. There's an 8 though, so it probably would cut the 6-pin.
I think it's all but confirmed that this is going to be Chanta Sanshoku attempt.
Would you call for it though, in Garrick's position?
I think he'd call just about everything except for the West. He might even call the West, too.
We are still pair. But I guess that didn't stop him last time. So what am
Right?
I saying? Will he take that? No, he does not.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. 1, 2, 3. Decides to keep it. Drops the 8-mon, potentially to pair up that 9. Oh, but it can't pawn it.
The
It's
problem,
2 9s already cut.
he doesn't really want to drop the Dora, but he can't use Dora for a Chanta, so maybe this is turning into a normal, just normal Sanchoku now. Sanchoku Dora 1, I guess it's the same value as Sanchoku Chanta if you're open.
Depends if someone drops what he needs.
And so far, Christine hasn't really been aiding this play. Ooh, there's a nice 3-mon draw.
Very close to this Chanta, this Sanshoku.
home,
Amy working on shapes. Tempai now for 5-pin. 3 are seen in other players' hands, 1 in the wall. Dora 1.
Ooh, this is kind of interesting because normally, you cut the 6 and wait on the 3, but that's a Dora indicator, a very in-demand tile. So she actually just chooses to wait in the 5-pin. There's 1 3-pin out and no 5-pin out, so it just looks better to her.
Honestly, three pin is not much better of a tile to wait on,
Right.
even looking at all the situations, since two are in Kinyan's hand, one is in Garrick's hand, and one is a
come,
Dora indicator, as you said. Oh, timing con
Spicy. Okay.
flips the wrong dragon, unfortunately.
I don't think I'd be able to convince myself to make this play. But the green dragon has come out a couple times, so it's not really we're not really worried about dealing into a hidden set of Dora there. It's more the Richi's become really potent now.
I am quite interested to see where this is going, especially because she's the only player open.
home,
So giving that con really only helps everyone else.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't flip any Dora, so didn't get the benefit herself. Kinyan will try to fight for this hand at least as we approach the end.
Silly Shanten. Wonder what she will do here. If she gets that 6 pin, it is likely she will end up cutting that 5 and dealing in.
I agree. I think it's more likely she gets the 5 than the 3, but ends up
G,
just going with the 7 instead.
All right, Christine calls for Tempai on 3/6 Mon.
Not many of those tiles remaining.
Nope, not at all.
Oh
We
no,
see all the sixes. Oh,
you can't push a Dora, and Garrett gets Tempa at the end. Can't reach you, but one pin is relatively safe here.
he can. He's hoping for that Hote Haite once again.
Will not happen though. 1500 though goes his way, and to Amy as well. So standings, rather scores, kind of evening out for second through third place, and Garrett continues to climb up to 40,000 points.
This is a lovely high pie for Garrick. We have one finish shaped, one Dora in hand, and lots of great floaters. Two
Let
Dora in hand. Excuse me.
Suddenly, I am a huge fan of this hand.
Definitely the best looking hand. Amy once
home,
again has a pair of Chun. Will call.
Yeah, perhaps the best bet is now to just use Garrick's playstyle against him. Just go fast and hope to shut it down before things get expensive. Of course, the weakness is that you are a little bit vulnerable as you open. So if Garrick gets to tempai quickly, and he kind of has the shapes to do that, you could find yourself in a bit of trouble. Oh,
Oh, he's going Tanyao.
Chitoy Ishanten, he just says no, flat out rejects it.
As you just informed me once again, Garrick does not like Chitoy.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, but
It's gonna be Chitoy Tanya somehow.
somehow goes from Chitoy Dora 2 to Chitoy Tanyao Dora 2.
Oh dear, this is
Oh,
that door's a little hard for Christine to use.
her shapes are pretty good. She might just say nah, but takes it, tries.
Garrick
Maybe Garrick
reconsidering.
sees it.
Yeah, he sees it for sure. He's thinking West looks like a great weight. Something something West weight best weight.
Something, something. West Coast, Best Coast, West Weight, Best Weight. Sorry.
home,
All right, that is Ishanten for Amy. And,
Christine also still holding on to that 8 Mondora. Thinks it's early enough. There might be time to play around those shapes, but Amy has called twice. Players should think that she's likely in Tempai at this point.
well, this is
Oh,
Tempai for Christine. Does she dare drop the 8? It looks really bad against Amy.
it looks really bad in general.
Yeah.
Does not.
Okay, we'll just stay Ishanten. It's still very wide. Uh, the maybe some 50-10 issues in the Pinzu, but you're really just hoping to draw around the Dora.
Cannot pair up the Dora since we see all 4, but would love to draw a 7.
All right, this is time for Garrick. He says, "You know what? I never wanted Chitoy anyway." Not really a good call. Yeah, he'd be pretty happy with just about any other so tile around the 4, just not the 4 itself. That's three-sided 2d10. I don't think she wants this.
There is a potential Sanchoku in Amy's hand as well when you look at the 6, 7, 8 shape. In
Oh,
Christine's
for
hand, I'm
Christine, yep.
sorry. For Christine.
Home.
Garrick pawns, takes Tempai on that 8-mon 5-pin Shabo.
Yeah, 2 players with a 5 that could come out, but Kenyon would probably drop the 2 first, and Christine would probably drop the 8 first. So neither's gonna really drop it out here. So Garrett kind of stuck until he improves his weight. He desperately looking for a 6-pin.
Tempai again. Does not take it. Christine really wanting to use this 8-mon. Draws a 2-mon over at Kenyon's hand. Over there at Kenyon.
Amy hasn't really changed her weight very much, except for the 2 so cut. And even since then, it's just been Samokiri. So really looks Tempai with a 4 cut. You'd imagine the 5/8's kind of dangerous. Christina's done well to hold this door for as long as she has, and it's never coming out. She did get Tempai on it. Or no,
It
not
is.
Tempai. That's
Sumo.
It's still Yishan 10. Oh my gosh, and Amy draws the very last 5-mon. Which I was about to comment was fully dead almost.
so that means that Garrick's dealer run ends in the East round. We'll see him again as we move around the table. What about this
It better
hypo?
end in East. He can't possibly end his first dealer in South. That would be terrifying.
That would be some glitch there. We've had some funny ones
Not
in the
that
past, but nothing that drastic.
Tento's a good client, but nothing without its flaws. Pairs up the Hatsu over there for Garrick. Amy, lots of pairs in her hand. Anko in the 6.
Ooh. I was thinking about
Potential.
potential Sonoko route, but she sees maybe wider variety of acceptance here.
Tanya being faster. Garrick is still in the lead at 39,000 points, but we are only in East 4. And second through fourth, 3,000 point difference. It's quite tight.
Christine really holding on to this door.
Riichi.
Oh wow, that's
Wonderful. Richinomi only on the 2-5. So, but because of the low value, pretty high chance someone might deal into that tile thinking that not much of it. Early 8 so discard as well. So if you're trying to read, maybe someone will fall into a trap.
yeah. With a 1-pin cut, you might suspect that the weight is around this Ricci tile.
Home.
It turns out to be the case this time, but Kenyon will still fight with the 3 so.
And luckily that's safe. And she completes her shape.
Oh, and gets the
Dom.
win.
East Dora, 3,000.
Snipes that away with a Ricci stick bonus as well.
And also takes second place from Amy. All right, we are finally in South. Back Kenyon back on her dealership. Not the best shape, still looking for some, but they could. You never know what tiles you can draw in Mahjong.
Yeah, it's very easy to give up on a hand prematurely. I think
Christine's hand also looks quite slow, but does have a bunch of Yakuhai that could be easily paired up.
it looks like she's kind of
Home.
playing this towards a Honitsu and the Sozu. And the West Call certainly confirms that.
Oh, draws another Yakuhai.
You know the hand I'm a fan of. 2-3-4 Sanshoku for Garrick. And confirmed. Now, does he like this weight?
リーチ
Yes, yes, he does.
I would take it. It's incredible to have a confirmed Sanshoku in turn 5.
And the Honitsu can't use a Mon tile, so
Well,
it,
there's 2 of the 7 Mons locked up right now in Amy's hand. May come out if she draws a 5/8. Maybe not.
well, Christine actually started to make progress with this Honitsu, pairing up the East as well as the White Dragon, so we might see her choosing to fight. Let's it go. Okay, so that's gonna be a fold then. Would you take the challenge against the Garrick Ricci? With I guess it would
That's hard.
be
This is South 1. I probably not actually because I still have a dealership
if
if
you
I was in Christine's place.
yeah, the score is pretty close from second to fourth as has been ever since Garrick took the lead. It is a but also it's an early Ricci, so an Adora had come out from that hand, so it's a little bit hard to assume they've had time to build a good weight or a good value. In the end, though, Christine kind of working her way back towards a Tempai. She is Ishanten again.
3-pin looked really bad when she drew it, but now with a bit more Pinzu out, may consider pushing it. Nothing super safe as in Suji, but
Okay, so it's still going to dance
maybe now,
around.
maybe looking for K10 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Cuts the 2.
リーチ
Oh
That's
my.
the last 7. Amy Ricci's.
Three-sided 5, 6, 8. I think there's 1 5 left. Oh, and 1
And 1/8
8.
left. I think there's what 2 6s. So believe it or not, that Tonki 6 is the widest or the most available, I should say. Will Kenyon swap to a Raomin or cut something safer?
1 tile left for everyone. 5, 6, 8. Garrick passes the test, but
ツモ
Amy finds the Tsumo at the expensive end.
Oh,
And it's revealed to Garrick all of his weight, almost all of it, was held by Amy, who
and
will...
Garrick mentions in the comments, never bad weight, Ricci.
This has been a theme lately, a strong point of discussion and in the late night sessions. So, I don't think it was a bad reach. I think you got a little bit unlucky this time,
I
Amy.
agree. There were lots of 7s in the wall. It just didn't come to him.
All right, Christine now at the helm. There is a Dora one so in hand. Oh, nice two on fill. So 2 away from Tempai with potential Ricci Dora Tonki.
Definitely will want to do something on this dealership to kind of pull away from this 2nd through 4th cluster.
Yeah, every round that passes,
Dealer
it becomes more important to be ahead of the other 2 players.
and obviously the more important goal is get over 30K.
Eric's held that watermark for a while. Everyone else has been sinking a little bit.
ポン
You don't want to give Garrett those extra, what is it, 15 points for being the only person in first place
Yeah, first
and
place.
above 30K?
First place gets 15 points of Uma, and if you're the only player above 30K, then you get a bonus 5 for a 20 points of Uma. So it'd be, that's no small amount of points. It's definitely something Garrick's trying to accomplish here. Has the Yakuhai pair, calls it quickly, aims to keep himself, retain that position as the only player over 30,000 points.
This is the patent Garrett go fast method, which
That,
has seemed to be working out for him quite a bit, while the Richi's have not been.
and that's how he's made his way to A1 in the past. Just win every hand. And Christine finally gives up on the door because her shapes are just way too strong. Might lessen the value of the hand, but She does want to find Tempai as soon as
リーチ
possible.
Found Tempai, Ricci Pinfu. No Dora, but potential Ura.
And now we'll get to see Garrick dance around this Ricci. He'll still try to win the hand, but he'll try to do it in a cautious way. In the meantime, for the other three players, Amy is now Tempai. Will she challenge?
リーチ
With Dora 3, I think the answer is yes.
This will be a major turning point if either of them win.
Well, as is, Amy's weight is not live whatsoever. Christine holding 3 of them. So, Christine doing to Amy what Amy did to Garrick. The only way Amy can win is if the 4 comes out from Kenyon, but that just doesn't seem very realistic at this
Gee.
point.
No, I think what would be more likely to happen is that one Mon coming out from Kenyon's hand, if there is anything in the Monzu coming out at all.
Although I guess the 7mon just came out, so if the 1 does pass, then the 4mon becomes Nakasuji. You could find a way to make that happen. 8 so
But
1
there's no
chance.
need to.
Right.
Since if you draw a 7mon, then you would
No.
cut. Oh, never mind. Kenyon deals into Christine's Ricci. Or Ricci Pinfu. Plus Amy's Ricci stick.
Yeah, 4-pin was Nakasuji to Amy, and it was at least half Suji to Christine, so it only deals into the 2-3 shape. That's exactly what the shape was. Sometimes it deals
Definitely
into
the
Tanki,
less expensive Ricci.
Oh my, well, we might be seeing a more expensive Ricci soon. From Christine.
Christine going up to Dora. That's exactly what she wants to see right now on her dealership. With some very nice Pinzu shapes already in her hand with
Home.
a nice 4-mon floater.
Garrick's got a straightforward approach once again. Pon Pon Ron?
Well, this time it's Pon Pon Honitsu potential.
Yeah, definitely a hand worth calling for. I mean, frankly, from his position, every hand is worth calling for, but Amy actually considered calling the 3-mon to fix a bad shape and go Atozuke for the White Dragon, but she did manage to pull in the Haku Anko, and so that means now this
Will
Chi
she
is
take
just
it here?
Tempai.
She does. She takes that 3-pin Tonki. We'll probably want to swap off of it pretty soon if she can find anything else.
We saw her diamond come before. Will she try again?
Come.
Of course.
Oh, she does. Flips herself a Dora.
And now has a chance to even pull in 2 Dora if she draws the 8-pin or another 5-pin to improve the weight.
Christine keeping her Sozu shapes. Sorry, keeping her Pinzu shapes, discarding all the Sozu.
Home.
Garrick found an awkward Tempai Penchon waiting on the 7, so.
Reach.
Oh, but there's the Tempai for Christine. She happily slams this one 2-5 pin for Ricci Dora 3. Amy gets the.
Amy also gets that better weight on 5-8.
And dares to jam out the 3-pin. Fortunately, that's one of the few pin cells that passes, and she finds the Tsumo. Robbing away another Christine victory, which means you're going to see Amy surpassing 30,000. Finally, a player accomplishes that goal outside of Garrick.
And Christine must be just very sad right now at her large chance at a nice win. Also got Oya Kabarid by
So
that signal.
I think that dips her below 30k. That and the Ricci stick. All right, South 3, it's a really pivotal hand because going to all last, you want to at least be ahead of your close competitor. So a chance for Christine to make up the ground so that all last scenarios are in her favor. She will open up with a Hatsu, or Hatsu Dora 1, presumably.
If she can get that Hatsu Dora 1, that does put her back above 30k, which I think right now is everyone's goal. Amy's to stay there, Christine to get there, and Kenyon just needs a Mongon to get there.
Yeah, Kenyon Ishan.
And she has quite a nice hand.
The Dora in hand as well is really important. That means Richi Tsumo Dora. If you can find an Uda, you've got 8,000 points, and that would be that 31,000 point mark.
As a so kind of floater, 3-pin. Oh, there's a pair of the Dora.
Oh,
Kenyon discards it. Fascinating enough. I think I would have gone with 3-mon there.
maybe with the number of 7 pins discarded, it looked less useful, but I think
G.
I want to read the Mongon that doesn't require hitting Uda. Okay, looks like we
Oh,
end up in
Lee
the same
Kenyon
spot.
knows better. 2-5. Wait. Richi Dora.
There are, oh, well, I was going to say 4 tiles, now 3 tiles. Live, Amy dodges the Patsu here.
Christine still trying to play around, get Tempai.
Garrick absolutely does not want to deal into this. He's got 888.
But he absolutely does want to. Oh, another 5 for Amy, just drawing all of Kenyon's weight at the moment.
But not that
But
one.
never mind. Draws it herself. Retreats Simodora. No Ura, but that is still 1,000, 2,000 points.
And it comes down to this. Look how close the scores are, given where we started. Even Garrick not safe at first.
It is anyone's game at the moment.
It doesn't even need to be a Mongon Sumo. A Mongon Ron even by any player will take first place.
But who has a Mongon hand?
Well, Garrick has
At
2
least,
Dora.
but lots of, ones and nines he would have to discard to get to that Tanya shape.
Ooh, okay. Christine draws the
Ooh.
Anko of Hatsu. Richi Hatsu. Maybe we can find a Dora, but I think there's only one left in the wall. Oh.
Never mind. Garrick just takes all the Dora.
The one person who didn't need the Dora triplet, but I'm sure he's not complaining. One of the issues though for him is I know he wants to play a Tanyao, but these shapes are just not conducive to that goal.
Garrick is spamming the chat. Dora 2, call for Tanya. Dora 2, Dora 3, call for Tanya. Amy decides just to go ahead and call the South.
G.
Try to extend her dealership.
Oh, that 5. So, Kenya now. Trying to think of how to maximize the value here. In the all last of the previous game, she found her way into a Manzu Chinitsu. This is a little bit harder to do, but Honitsu would have been okay. Still, she decides to just take the good shapes for maybe a Richi Peiko.
I think Amy, should discard the Dora here. Let's see if Garrick does not con.
Yeah, he had the option. He had Chi, Koln, and now Con, but he didn't complete the trifecta of calls.
What a shame. But he did find himself into only inner tiles for that Tanyao hand that he has been looking for. Oh. Christine across the way also decides she is okay with that 1,000 point hand.
This is
just wants to win to beat Kenyon. That 300 difference can mean quite a bit in point value.
Yeah, what's it? 10-point exchange of Uma. So winning 1,000 points here is the same as winning 11,000 points.
Kenyon now deciding what she wants to do. Just discarded that 9-mon. Drew the other side of it. Garrick Tenpai 4-7, so
that doesn't actually improve the weight, but it looks prettier. Still looking for the Sem 3 live in the wall. It's very good. Amy has been sitting Isha on 10 for forever, and she's got to be guessing that this tune is needed by Sim. Oh, there's the 7!
No.
Oh,
And
and no one expects that Anko of Dora 3.
yeah, of course, you know, when you see a player opening so desperately for Tanya, you think it's a possibility, but from first place, Garrick has every reason to open it for Tanya only, and instead he was holding the triplet. So he will confirm first place here, plus 27.6. I know he would have preferred a Sumo to get Amy below 30k, but you know, you can't complain about a nice positive finish like this. And overall, I think it was a good series for Garrick. Amy in second place takes the 5.7, manages to finish off on a positive as well. Kenyon takes the negative 7.5, and Christine, unfortunate, minus 25.8. Nothing to do but drop the 7, so in that last hand, of course.
I mean, she was just fighting for that 1,000 points, because as you said, that 11-point swing
it's
is
huge.
massive in South 4.
Still, Christine is doing quite well in the positives in A2, as we see the standings update. Garrick back into the second spot in the division, and well played series, all things said. It was very exciting to watch.
Definitely chasing Stanley's tail by just under 20 points, 15 points. Can't wait to see it.
I'm sure we'll see the review later for anybody who is interested. I have no doubt that we'll see a review of the game in chat later on.
Definitely. Kenyon managing to stay above that demotion zone, but as you said earlier, we don't look at that too much in the early season. So only session 2 right now. Amy did go up, but not quite up enough to get out of the bottom 5.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to watch A2. Really stacked this season. Tons of strong players, and just about every session is going to be a lot of fun to see. Again, I'm really hoping that we get to catch that Friday series in a couple days to finish off the division. I think that's the last game. Oh no, there's 2 sessions that have yet to be played, but at least hopefully be able to catch the conclusion of that one. As
For
is,
who?
for the Beach and Rachel versus Harrison.
Right. The Battle of the Coast, as I
Yeah,
called it
Harrison
earlier.
Ken, exactly. DC versus PML. As is, I think there is one more game that's happening tonight that will start in a few minutes. Perhaps we will take a quick break before coming into that one. It will be an A1 series with Matthew, the league champion of the last year, Korak. Of course, everyone is familiar with the name. Lucas, who played in the league championship last year, and Zalong. If you're a fan of Closed Hands and Declaring Ricci, you're going to love watching Zalong play. So we'll be back with that one in just a few minutes. See you in a bit. All right, welcome back, everybody. We have the A1 matchup all set to go. Almost all set to go. One moment as I get the screen to lag a little bit and throw in all of these exciting participants.
We already have a mochi mochi situation on the White Dragon between Korak and Lucas. We'll see who folds first.
Well, you remember the last time we saw this situation? It took a Ricci to cause one of these dragons to come out, and then it got called for the progression. So I wonder if that's going to be what it takes in this hand. Already Ishan 10, though, for our dealer, Matthew. Let's go ahead and update the overlay. This is...
Ooh. Lucas draws Dora, says no thank you, and passes it right away after discarding 2/6 Mon.
You know, Lucas, a player who is outspoken in talking about, how he doesn't let Dora get in the way of him playing for efficiency. If it doesn't fit in the hand, he just lets it go. In this case, he let the 6-mon go early, not just playing like strict efficiency, not allowing for the opportunity that the Dora enters the hand. And this was
I
forced
think
to give
that's a
it
very
later.
interesting choice because, unfortunately, like he has very good shapes. You know, he has the 3/4, the 6/6/8. So I guess he didn't really need that floating 6, especially since he thought maybe the Haku would come out. But now we are seeing that's not happening, and Korak fills that 8/9 Penchon, guaranteeing Dora use, discarding the more dangerous 5-mon.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I think Korak's looking at the 2 4s and 2 6-mons cut and thinking, you know what, this 5 isn't actually as good as it normally is. I'm going to float the 5 so.
And Lucas finds Tempai waiting Shabo's
リーチ
6-pin Haku. Immediate chase from Matthew.
It's a good thing Korak's been holding the south because he's not going to deal any Ipatsu, but here's that situation we were talking about. The Haku actually becomes a little bit dangerous now.
The west is Shompai, but is safe. Will pass.
I see. I guess it was actually twice cut.
Oh, sorry. No, you're totally right. It was the first discard on the longs.
Ooh, okay, now is that tough choice against 2 Richis. Haku's kind of nice. 2-mon.
What a dodge.
He sees the 1 chance with the 3-mon discarded. He knows it's safe to 1, so it's only a case of does it deal into Matthew, and it's Sotogawa to the early 4-mon cut, so 2-mon was a nice dodge, but can he keep it up? 8-mon!
It is.
It's safe.
Wow. And Lucas takes Sumo on the 6-pin, and Korak must be seeing that and was like, I thought about that.
I think 8-mon was even safe the turn he cut the 2-mon, but he was still trying to play for the hand a little bit, and finally gave up and played the safe 8-mon. So just strong, aggressive defense from Korak, and good
Well, that was
fights
interesting
from Matthew and Lucas.
because he actually got to Tempai that last time when he cut 8-mon. He could have reachied with the 3-pin, but decided that this hand and value was not worth it and decided to fold away.
Yep. And as a result, he gets his dealership back, saves some points. Gets to his dealership, rather. And now...
I see Sanshoku potential in this hand with Korak, and I know he is a big fan of Sanshoku.
Home.
Absolutely. It's going to be tricky to pull together without finding a pair elsewhere, but of course that's always a possibility. Here's that 8-mon.
It could be 6/7/8, could be 7/8/9. It really just does depend on where the pair appears.
Yes, even something like a 9-pin draw would allow the 7-8-9 to happen.
9 so pairs up. Decides he doesn't want it.
Yeah, Kark already has enough blocks, so he doesn't need 2 pairs here. He'd rather hold the east as a safe tile, and he's still floating the Sanchoku either direction, 6-7-8 or 7-8-9. Dora, on the other hand, that is something he wants to keep.
You pair up Dora, this becomes quite a valuable hand for dealer.
We do see a North has come out already from Zaloma across the way, who is 2 away from Tempai with 2-3-4 Sanchoku chance. I think we're going to have to give up on that soon.
A lot of a very hard shape in the 8, 9, 10 Chan.
Yeah, I
Decides to keep the 7.
think just about everybody here is stuck with one bad shape. I mean, Lucas has got the 8-9 so.
Korak just discarded North. He's like, this isn't worth it. Kept the 3 Mon.
Is this an early cheaper K10? I think so. Of course, it doesn't have to be Keshiki Tenpai because you can find a swap to Tanya later on, or even the 6-7-8 Sanchoku. Even cutting away his pair here.
Fascinating play style.
Yeah, the issue here is that so much of the 2-5-8 Suji has come out that it's going to be impossible for him to complete this hand without extremely fortunate draws. And so he knows he needs to open up.
And that's one step closer to that 6, 7, 8. 7, so not terrible. Still 2 left, I believe, in the wall. Finds a pair in the 4.
You know, if Korak's Chun didn't get called, he would be still be holding his Nagashi Mangan. Of course, that's not in the league, and Matthew will
Take the 1,000 points. Although Nagashi Mangan is very exciting. I'm not sure if you saw any, or if you were at Richinomi this year. I don't think I saw you, but
No.
I saw 2 Nagashi Mangans at my table.
That's
Tables.
pretty crazy. It was a surprise to hear that it was enabled and that people actually won it in a tournament game.
It was insane. What's even funnier was some people know him as Whale or William. He had conned the South pretty early on, and dealer at that time, at all last, called the judge over and said, "Can I beat Tenpai on a dead tile?" And the judge ruled yes. And when they revealed she was Tenpai for Kokushi on the South.
That's incredible.
Pretty good shapes for Korak. A nice Anko of 1-so draws for Lucas.
Oh, he's
Still
floating
looking
this
to fill.
Dora hard.
Could try and force this Honitsu.
I'm so interested in how he's gonna play this if he gets any call. So 2 so call is just Tenpai or 5 so for that matter. But he could get greedy. If he gets the chance to call the 6 so though, he might break away from the 4-pin 3-pin and go for Honitsu Dora to Yakuhai.
Well,
So
Lucas is known to enjoy his Honitsus. I mean, the command is !Navitas for a reason.
yeah, Navitas. Is this Honitsu? You have to be
We shall
determined.
see.
The South is still in the wall, so there's if it starts to come out, probably not Honitsu. If he draws it though, you've got to force it, right?
Absolutely. And that's an interesting choice from Zalong. He had a 2-2-4 shape and then cut away to get a 6-8-8 shape. But Navitas decides to give up the South 1 turn before Ricci. Never a bad time to give up that tile. Maybe we'll cut 1-so. Nope, decides to push.
I think since he passed the South without any hesitation, I think Lucas is just going to fight for his dealership here. I don't think there's a tile he'll fold on.
No. 2-so would be a double Ron. 1 Mon would be the other side for Zalong.
There is One mon in the wall. Two so's completely held or discarded. Five so's, three live. So it's 3 versus 2 in the wall.
Decides to keep the south since it did pass one turn before the Ricci. Oh, and there is the deal and tile for Matthew.
No.
Lucas does decide to push it. Ricci Ura, not the worst that he could have dealt into.
So here in East 4, just a little bit of poking and prodding so far. Nothing massive like we saw in those A2 games just yet. Zalong opens up with pair of Dora. Overblocked here. Way too many shapes, so we're going to have to make a choice soon.
Very nice 8 mon fill for Lucas right there. Decides to cut south-south. There is potential for maybe a 1-2-3 Sanchoku, but more likely just to be a Pinfu
Home.
hand, I think. If the 3-so comes up.
Matthew with an aggressive open on the 8 mon. Is this a Honitsu play? Yep.
I think it has to be. And with the current blocks, it could even be Honitsu Itsu, except he did just pawn away the 8s, and the last one is in Lucas's hand.
Yeah, but there is a chance. There is a chance if Matthew draws perfectly into Tenpai on the 8 in the next 2 draws, and Lucas draws a 5, mon, he could just slide down and drop the 8.
But Lucas has that 6-7-8 Sanchoku potential right now.
Yeah, he's Ishanten for that, so very likely he'll try to force that in. Korak.
Calling for Tanyao.
Yeah. Kind of similar to Garrick in the sense that he's also willing to open up aggressively shut down the hand. Zalong here finds the Ricci Pinfu as you predicted. It is Ricci Pinfu Dora 1, and he's okay to sacrifice a Dora as dealer for 5,800 points.
Gets that amazing Sanzo draw, so I'm sure those of you who believe in Sanzo are quite happy with that. Coming in clutch to get that extra Yaku for the Pinfu.
Yeah, Korak swaps away from the Chuso, and now draws a second Dora. Oh, how dirty would it be to cut the 4-mon and wait on that Gembutsu Dora? It's your path to Mongon.
It is your path to Mangan. Is that 2-3-3? I guess he didn't want to cut the 2-so, but it would have been Tenpai on the 1-4 or Atozuke on the 4.
Yeah, Korak's pushing here. Because Zalong reaching with the Dora and Korak has 2 more, it's kind of unlikely that Zalong is holding another Dora. So if it's just Ricci or Ricci Pinfu, that's kind of fine. Even if there's Uda, it's just 58. But surprise, there's actually, a Dora in hand. So this
Home.
Korak's definitely not going to get his Mongon. Can he find the 2
Sumo.
Mon?
Oh, but the Sumo for Zalong. Thank you to, I believe it's Lucas for the call.
Yeah, finds 26 all, and as is the case in most games with Zalong sitting in the table, he wins with a Ricci and jumps out ahead. Definitely outpacing all those small wins before.
Pair of Haku in hand could easily be a call. This could also be a Honitsu hand, honestly, depending on the draws. But that probably kills it.
Yep, looks like it'll be
Home.
here. And an open. What?
This is not standard.
This is not the Zalong that I know. No, this is I think pretty normal for a dealership. You've got Yakuhai Dora 1, and there is a small chance that you can slide to Honitsu. He is at least hedging that possibility, so also I think this is the highest call rate I've ever seen Zalong have. 31%.
That is quite high. But it's also, is it for the entire game or is it for the entire, just this season?
Just this season. Usually, I think historically speaking, he has something like a 25% call rate. But this time it's Matthew, so at least so far this season, who's got that low call percentage, high Ricci rate. As long as is looking a little bit more average. Now he has called a second time now into Ishanten for Yakuhai Honitsu Dora. Potentially Chun as
We're
well.
just holding on to that tune, not wanting to drop it into this potential Honitsu. Not sure how far they are.
Yeah, I wonder. Dealer's two call, they look like they're doing Honitsu in the Dora suit. Is it Lux's turn to just bow away from this hand and prevent Dealer from making any progress?
It's hard to make that choice when you're not in first place.
That's right. Although it still is really close. He tries the north wind, so he's not fully giving up just yet.
Home.
Pawn becomes Tenpai on the 6-mon.
Well, now I think the Chu never comes out. And so it's up to Korak to try to sumo. He's been silently holding this weight on the 7-mon for such a long time. One of the rare Korak damas,
Yes,
but
sumo. Well, nope, he starts folding away.
Yeah, it's gonna make the long trip back to Tempai. 8-pin, 8-pin, 8-pin in the future. He can still call the Green Dragon. Or just draw
Or just
it.
draw
He
it
might reach
himself.
the 8-mon now.
Beach.
Too predictable. This is kind of enough value to go for. But you are fighting against a really expensive hand. It's gutsy, and we'll see if it pays off. They are 2 5-mon on the wall versus 2 6-mon. It's 2 versus 2. Kind of close value as well.
5-mon is Dora, so obviously we shall see.
Oh, one of the 6-mon
Oh,
out.
there's 1-6.
Yeah, a more cautious play would be to continue cutting away from the 8-pins and hope to draw into Tempai using all of the Mon tiles.
Oh, wow. Zalong draws the 8, decides not to cut Dora, which I think is a fair decision.
Slight advantage. Korak, he
Sumo.
finds the 5-mon!
Incredible, incredible. Gutsy for sure. And finds an Ura. Ends up guaranteeing that Mangan. Reach Hatsutsumo Dora Ura.
When you've got the value, you know, there's not much that's going to stop Korak from slamming a Ricci. And it pans out
I feel
in a big way, straight into first place.
I feel like drawing that third Hatsu was a sign. Had to be done. All right, now we're at Matthew's dealership, South 1. Very nice shapes. Potential Itsu in the Sozu. Pairs up, decides to take the 1-4 potential Ryanman.
Yeah, it has to balance out this Dora South with the rest of his hand. The 9s, though, isn't that big of a sacrifice because we're just giving up the slight Itsu chance. And now
Yeah,
his
I probably
shapes.
would have. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, his safe shapes are confirmed for Pinfu, just holding out the chance of pairing up the South.
I think overall the shapes would have probably played out quite similarly. Cuts Dora now before it's too dangerous. I might have cut the 5-mon first, considering as you said, shapes were already pretty set.
That's a good point.
And just keep that option for Itsu, just in case something popped up.
Yeah, here actually choosing to hold the perfect Ishan 10 rather than Sakagi the
Ricci.
3-so, and now we'll slam the 3-so for the Ricci.
On that 1-4-so, 4-so would be Takame for Tanyao.
Expensive side is more alive in the wall too. There are 2 4-so in the wall versus only 1 of the 1-so.
1-so pretty set in Korak's hand as a pair. 4-so in Lucas's hand also a pair, but might be a little looser if he draws something around it and decides to push.
Dora now bleeding
At
out
draw
some.
Dora. Well, now everyone knows no one has value.
Will it incentivize a push?
That's the hard thing about these honor tile Dora. Once you see them all, it's like, what is the largest value they could possibly have, right?
Right. I mean,
Shinfu Sanshoku. It's probably not a Honitsu with a turn 5 Richi. It doesn't look Honitsu. So
yeah, if the player has an obvious Yaku, that could be value, like Honitsu is an example. If they've got the Dora, that's value. And if you're dealer, that's value too, because you can just flip an Uda and get a monster hand.
there's a force out. See if what happens.
Yeah, not an easy defense here.
Decides to cut the 7. I don't think that was safe in any way, but
Well, we do have the 3/5 so's kind of blocking that upper portion out. It is not, it's absolutely not guaranteed to be safe though.
Natsu was fine.
I think the 3 mon is also a fine try.
Lucas Ishanten, floater of the 2-mon and 7-pin. Would like to find something there.
Boom.
Oh, and the 1-so comes out when the 2-so was drawn.
It'll just be the reach
Korak.
2,900.
West is Dora yet again, actually.
We keep getting these honor tile Dora. Kind of tough to play hands like this, but no one's got the West just yet.
Do you like having honor tile Dora?
I do
I
not.
personally dislike it.
I mean, I'm totally fine with it as long as I've got the Anko. But if I don't see the Anko in my Hypai, I'd prefer not to play the hand.
Exactly. When it's honor tile Dora and you flip your hand up and you see 2 or 3, you're like, amazing, incredible, let's go. And as soon as you see nothing and utter garbage, then you're like, get me out of here right now.
I don't know about you, but I just always assume that the Dora have already all been drawn at Hypai, and if you don't have it, somebody else does. That may be
I assume
statistically inaccurate, but
I think so. I've watched quite a lot of high pie draws with Dora, and I think statistically,
Chi.
by 3rd or 4th discard, at least 3 have been drawn somewhere.
well, Matthew's plan of action here is just call and go.
Chi.
Killing one of the bad shapes of the hand with a Chi. Still relying on the 4-pin. Normally you get a little bit worried about this 2-3 shape waiting on the 4, because, you know, you worry about drawing the 1-pin and not being able to have a Yaku, but when you see 3 of the 1-pins discarded, it's pretty reasonable to make the Atosuke Tanyo play.
And if you draw that 1-pin, you can still discard it.
And just pray that the 4-pin comes out before you get Tenpai.
Exactly. There looks like potential Chitoi chance over on the left. Lots of pairs.
Yeah, unless Zolong finds a 2-pin or a 5-pin soon, I think it's very likely to end up being a Chitoi.
There's the last one, 1-pin, so guarantees the 4 draw for Matthew.
Yeet.
And now Matthew with a very wide shape, but it's Korak who will find Tenpai first. This could put Matthew in trouble. It's a Richi Nomi waiting 2/5 so, and if Matthew does draw the 4-pin, he's very incentivized to cut the 2 so here.
5 so will be Ipeko, so it'll be Richi Ipeko.
West.
Only 1 West still drawn. It is in Lucas's hand.
Chi.
Yeah, because the West hasn't come out at all, you're a little worried that Korak's holding a pair. But Matthew's willing to jam the 9-mon at least in the Haku.
Tsumo.
Oh, the Chi into Tsumo. It was not a Chitoi. He did manage to pull in one of the 2 pins, and that will shut the door on Korak's Richi. And Matthew's Ishan 10. And Zolong will take the lead moving into South 2.
Boom.
We have Korak opening with a high pie of Dora 2 in the 7s. And immediately filling a shape that uses them.
Yeah, this is pretty fantastic. You're a little sad that Zolong has already opened up. Again, because Zolong has historically been a relatively closed player, you're always a little concerned when he's opening up. Like maybe it's a Toy Toy, maybe it's a Honitsu, maybe it's both. Given these draws,
But right now, you have 3 Dora and you have a Chun pair. Very easy to open up, and you have the value. So
yeah, absolutely. At this point, you don't care what anyone else is doing at the table. It's just full speed ahead with your own hand.
this is the hand where I'm like, if you're not going to win this hand, your chance of winning in general this game is very low.
Prime opportunity. Lucas, considering this pawn, does take it. He's got a nice hand himself. Honitsu with a couple different Yako to call, including double south.
Double South Haku Honitsu, easy Mangan. Oh, finds a very nice upgraded weight. 5/8 so instead of that con 7.
Ooh, Anko of the 4 pin drawn for Zolong. Toy Ishantem.
リーチ
Decides to cut the 6 pin because of the
Oh!
Dora indicator. Oh my gosh.
Oh, everyone's fighting this hand.
It's wow. 7 pin Dora Conchon weight for Matthew, 4/7 Chun for Korak,
チ
and everyone has everyone's weight.
But Korak's probably the most live because the Chun's in the wall. And
Who?
Lucas
Lucas, what are you gonna do?
He drops it. Oh, this is a killer. Ricci, Chun, Ipeiko, Dora 3.
Ipeiko Dora 3.
No
But that is still 6 Han, 18,000 points, and that will hurt for Lucas, but that's a great win for Korak.
Wow, what? You could see it building together. Matthew, Ricci, and then all of a sudden everyone was Tempai or Ishanten. And with tremendous value, everyone was going to fight. Just as a matter of who's going to draw that Chun, really.
And you saw that. Lucas knew that was dangerous.
Yeah, he did not like that Chun, but he said, you know what? I'm Mangan Ishanten. So the value's worth fighting for. Unfortunately, that
Mangan
Chun...
Ishanten versus 2 Tempai, including dealer. It's a hard call. It is a super hard call to make right there.
Yeah, for sure. And it will be Korak the big winner in this one, and might be continuing this, although Matthew's trying to have some say in this. Ishanten for Matthew for Hatsu Dora 1, and Korak is Ishanten for a Ricci, maybe Ricci Pinfu. This looks like a Ricci.
I'm curious if Zolong is calling more due to the fact that he's trying to maybe change his playstyle or try out and experiment something else.
That's a good point. I mean, I know Zolong was actually talking about this a while back. I think he went on a hiatus last season, but he was thinking about maybe changing his playstyle. It also could be that he's just picking a different playstyle against this table specifically, a table that's known to open their hands more aggressively. It might be harder to get your hands closed if players are speeding up so much. And the other thing is maybe it's just this game in particular. He's been given hands where he feels it's correct to open. So maybe it might just be a case of small sample size from our viewing perspective.
Well, again, looking at the call rates with Korak's 48% call rate, that's what I think is some of the highest in the league.
Absolutely. Korak typically has one of the higher ones in the league. It looks like Matthew's just getting out of here. At least attempting to, even with 2 calls. There is only 1 tile remaining in the wall for this weight.
1 and 3 so. I don't see anyone dropping it, though.
Yeah, it feels like the 2-mon more likely to come out than the 3 so. Matthews...
Discards 5 Genbutsu.
Yeah, he's really close to dropping it, though. Running out of tiles.
That's Dora. Don't want to drop that. Oh, and there's the 2. He thought, I just passed the 5. Maybe the 2 would be safe.
Oh, no! Una-san! And Korak can just not miss right now. It became
That was
Suji trapped.
rude.
Oh
Wait a
no.
minute. Which tile was the Ura tile?
It was the one mon revealing all the twos
Where
to
the
be to be Dora. And Korak is on cloud 9 right now. Opens up with the West. This is actually a bit of a Honitsu hedge. The plan is just Atosuke Hatsu call, but if he continues to draw Sozu, he can still play for the maximum value. And now let's see, 4 mon is the Dora. Only one held by Zalong.
after a win like that, you're like, the wall can't hate me now. I'll get whatever I want, and does draw another pair of the 5-so.
Okay, still hedging everything. The Dora acceptance, the Hatsu call for a normal hand, the 2-so for Honitsu shift later. We do
The one cut
sacrifice.
south was the best discard I think he could have
Mhm.
made at that juncture.
Okay, true none cut, but still follows the same method.
Now, Lucas drawing a 4-mon.
ポン
Decision time here. I like the 6 mon. We're still hedging everything. The alternative is to play for the Dora, but yeah, this is a full committal now. Since the Hatsu hasn't come out, there's a bit of a concern that he's Mochi Mochi at the moment, but turns out Matthew's just holding it.
Matthew's shapes at the start were not the best, so I think he's slowly improving while cutting the honor tiles. But now he might be kind of hesitant cutting any Shompai honor tiles to what clearly looks like a Honitsu hand at this point.
リーチ
For sure. And well, Lucas is not going to shy away from taking this challenge. The gorgeous little 9/9 Shabo. It's only sad because it's not Doko.
It's so mean.
Oh, but this is Tempa for Korak.
Oh,
Tuso
how
Hawei
does he
Taki is
do
gonna be
this?
passed. Naka Suji trap though.
If he draws an 8 and cuts that 5,
Oh, Hawei Tuso was the truth here.
what will he do? Does he sense the danger? He swaps to 5-mon.
Doesn't like this 5-mon close to Dora against the Ricci, even though the 6 and the 4 have come out. There's nothing guaranteeing the 5 to be safe.
ロン
And there's a 9 drop from Zalong.
Loads of foo in that hand will be 3,200 for Lucas. And Korak
I'm
Steeler should finally
devastated about
pass this.
that Doko loss.
Yeah, it's so hard to turn that to Doko. Sometimes you know, if the shape wasn't 2, 3, 4, 5 that you're discarding away from, it was like 2, 2, 3, 4. Then you might play, away the 4 mon and the 4-so and 3-so and play for the Doko. But because there is no route to Doko with that particular shape, I think just taking the Ricci is necessary, but unfortunate.
Great high from Navitas. Already had a decision point to make and decided to go with the Tanyao hedge, cutting that 9-mon out, 9-pin out. Rewarded with this 5.
Yeah, put some thought into this. I think I do like the 6 pin here because if we draw the 7, so we want to work our way towards 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku.
There's a pair of 4s. I'm curious what he'll do with this.
Oh, do we give up the
I think
7?
this.
Okay.
Okay. I would say throw the 4 right back out.
Oh, looks like it might be coming out soon.
I'm glad I'm not at any of these tables, since any call that I have made has been backfired on me.
It's kind of 50-50 whether you cut the 4 and the 8 because we have 3 pairs. I think I like the 6-so because it still gives us... I guess no matter what we do, we still have the Sanchoku chance, so it's pretty 50-50. There's some scenarios where you want to cut away from the pair that you would like to turn into a diamond.
I understand. We already have a guaranteed pair in the 3-pin, or sorry, 3-pot.
Right.
I'm getting all the suits confused.
Uh,
And
so
also, I think it's a good choice to cut against the 6. Oh, Dora drop. But there's also
8-mon.
some Sozu's already been discarded in the upper Sozu. So if you're gonna wait on that, I
Ooh.
think it's good.
G.
A couple really interesting things happened. Matthew dropped the 7-mon. Lucas declined the call for the 1,000-point Tempai. And here, cutting the 7-mon, I'm not so sure because we're missing out on the 3-4-5 Sanchoku chance this way. I really like the 8-mon cut instead. It leaves the really wide extents of the 3-3-5-7-7. But now he draws a second Dora, and he's got to play for this hand.
Incredible. And we have an Anko of the double south
Dong.
for DeLong and deals in on that 3 on the Epox tile turn.
Yeah, was really playing for that 6-9 diamond shape, and unfortunately that happened to be the concha that Korak was looking for. Korak, I'm sure, not shy about taking a Ricci with just about anything. This has been a lot of really interesting scenarios, and it leads all the way down to this South 4. I've seen some crazy South runs from DeLong, but he's got a lot of work ahead if he wants to catch up to Korak.
Home.
DeLong, very quick call with the tune, sees that his shapes aren't great, wants to be able to call and open his hand for that cheap 1000, hope for a better high pie next turn. Interesting Anko of the 1-so on the left by Lucas. And yeah, I don't. Also, an Anko of 7-mon to the right.
Home.
I think I like
I
Lucas's hand and Korak's hand the most, but Zolong is certainly winning in terms of speed right now.
definitely Korak again. I think one of my favorite Yakus is Itsu. I do look for it quite a bit, and there is a potential. You just need 6-7, but that's a much better shape. The Ramen to the 5-6
G.
mon. Zolong now Tenpai on the 7
Each.
pin. Oh, and Korak finds his Ricci on the Ramen Reach Pinfu.
Will absolutely slam if he
Sumo.
can.
Oh my god!
He cannot miss. He cannot miss right now. Reach
Criminal.
Sumo Pinfu. This is huge because it's going to drop Zolong below 30,000. Not only does Korak pick pick up the 5,200 points for the win, but also the bonus 5 points of Uma for being the only player above 30k. It's going to be a monstrous 62.6 for Korak, and all of a sudden, we have a new player in third place.
Insane. And just remember, the last 2 games we saw those wild swingy games in A2. First place only got, 24 points. This is almost more than double, 2.5 times the amount of points that other first place players get at the end of their run.
It's so rare to see even a plus 40, let alone a plus 62.6. A monstrous game as Korak. I think he also took a second place in the first game of the series, so only positive results at this table so far, playing out of his mind. He certainly got some helpful draws there to work his way towards that huge win. And for the other players,
The
Zolong minus 1.8.
long seizing at that last hand, cutting him about under 30k would have been positive, maybe +4, but now
Yeah,
slightly under.
what more can you do? He played that as quickly and as efficiently as possible. He got Tempai, but Korak's weight was better. Matthew takes the minus 20.4. We'll dip down a little bit below. Drops below Korak and Dustin. And then Lucas taking the minus 40. Was up at the top of the division before the series started. And now still very positive, plus 33.6. But it's going to be a little bit harder to get back up to the top.
6th place is still very respectable. It is very early in the game. Only 6 game played out of 24. So it is anyone's league, anyone's season.
Yeah, first place is only at 74.1 after 8 games so far. I think usually at this point in the season, there's typically somebody over 100, but no one really jumping way out ahead this time around. So it really does feel like it could be anyone's
Game, yeah.
A1.
I mean, if you look at the first ratio, no one has had that 4 firsts yet. That you would expect when someone is jumping out, right? Even first place only has 2 firsts in a couple of seconds, and everyone's really just balancing each other out.
Very much the case here. Uh, Not surprising, though, to see that the players up at the top are the ones that have the largest win average. Outside of Joe, Joe is sort of an anomaly in A1, always has an incredibly high win rate. Sitting there smack dab in the middle. But Aaron with a very low deal-in percentage, Korak with a very low deal-in percentage, and that huge win average is certainly helped out by today's game. Still only 6 games into these statistics, a little bit tilted one way or
Skewed.
another. But it's certainly fun to look at. I was hanging around to see if we would have a little bit of a break before the next game, but I think they are just playing 2 today.
Drats. That would have been fun to watch one more.
Yeah, this table is absolutely thrilling to watch, and I'm going to take a peek at the schedule to see when they'll be playing next. I don't actually see a date for this table, so it is possible that they're just taking a bit of an extended break.
Maybe a 5-minute water break.
Perhaps I'm gonna hold out hope for a start time, but we do have something else to take a peek at. A different
Oh,
A1
Korak. Sorry,
match.
Korak did mention other 2 on Friday, 9 Eastern.
Oh, I missed that. All right, good to know. Well, in that case, we can end the stream on a really funny note, depending on whose seat you're sitting in. Let me
Oh
go
no.
ahead and find out.
It is a good point to make that right now for East Coast people. I am on the West Coast time zone, but at the East Coast, it is already about 11:20 p.m. So trying to keep your mahjong skills sharp, your brain thinking so late at night when you might have work in the morning is difficult once it gets later and later in the evening. So don't blame them for wanting to cut their session short right about now.
Yeah, very good point. And of course, all the players do a very good job of trying to schedule in such a manner that is feasible for all the players to be at top shape. So you may notice the scoreline pretty close here in South 4 between, I believe that's Max on the left. There are very few 8-dons in the league. And Jonathan is our current player, our current dealer. Or not dealer, but a current play that we're watching because he got a really spicy hand. It looks like your average Pinfu-esque hand. When you only need about 4,000 points to take over first place, certainly a high pie that is really promising. Confirming the pair of
Also,
the 8,
being
so.
dealer,
Well, dealer
you
is
don't need it.
across the way. I have swapped
Oh, dealer across the
perspectives
way.
from our
Sorry.
usual mode. Yeah, Ishan 10 for Ricci, Pinfu, maybe even Tanyao. Decides to go back and take the headless this time. Had declined that choice previously.
Kang.
All
Khan
right, potential 678 Sanjoku. Khan of Hatsu.
reveals the Formon to be Dora, and Kamicha has this massive Pinzu Honitsu. Or Chinitsu at this point. Oh, there's the Tenpai with the 3-pin Dora.
Reach.
Pulls the Dama.
Reach.
Doesn't Ricci. Oh,
Chi.
another Ricci.
So we've got Ricci on the Sanzo, Ricci Hatsu, Dora 1 for dealer. On the right, we've got Ricci Ipeko
Ipego.
with Adora, waiting on the 8-mon. For Kamicha, it's Chinitsu Tenpai, Chinitsu Dora 1, Hanemon.
Reach.
And with 2 Richis, Jonathan smashes the button.
Sumo.
Ipatsumo after waiting 2 turns for Ricci Patsumo Pinfu Sanchoku Tanya Dora Uratsu. Sanpaimon.
Insane. And takes the obvious win here.
12 Han Sanbai. Almost the full causeway. But it's so crazy against 3 players Tempai. And
Ura
having waited 2
too.
turns,
相撲
hits not only the
And
Ikats
also,
on the Takame expensive 6-mon, but also Ura too.
and that Chinese weight was super wide. It was 169 pin. So that's actually for a Chinese weight. That's pretty good.
Yeah, 169
This
and
weight.
Totsu. Crazy good. And the 1 pin looks so good. The 9 pin doesn't look that bad. It turns out half the weight was being held by the dealer.
You know, you just never know. I
Now,
can't believe that.
fantastic Sanbaimon. Very rare to win a Sanbaimon. Almost more rare than...
Especially in Akanashi.
Absolutely. It's easier to get a Yakuman in Akanashi than a Sanbai. But...
Uh, Cloudy in the chat saying, imagine losing 12K for absolutely no reason here.
Yeah, what else could you do? Even 13K, because you lost your Ricci stick. But
He ends up at 0 exactly. He has 12,000 points. He loses 12,000 points.
what more can I do than build a hand perfectly, get Tempai and slam Ricci? But
He even did decide to con the Hatsu, and that did flip him one Dora, I believe, right?
it
Oh no,
did.
what's the original Dora? 2 pin?
Yeah, the 2 pin was
Two
original,
pin's the
so...
original.
I mean, he's working with
Wow.
a dealer manga. That's 12,000 points. The Chinitsu, 12,000 points. With these Ura, Shimocha had what? Ricci, Ipeiko, Dora, Ura? That's 8,000. That's almost
That's almost a Haneman.
but
But
nope,
no.
24,000. 24,000 wins.
Easy. Plus 3 Ricci 6, because you know, why not?
Yeah, so this must have skyrocketed Jonathan up in the standings. Yeah, he's all the way up into the positives after that huge win.
Where was he before? I'm actually unsure.
I think he was moderately negative,
Gotcha. Because
but
he's now an 11th place out of 20.
yeah, picked up plus 45. So it was actually almost in the relegation zone. But a big win there certainly makes up for any negatives.
Yeah, plus 4. Again, we're seeing all these huge games today,
It was
which is so surprising.
certainly a good day to cast some mahjong. And
Anyways, this was extremely fun. Thank you for letting me commentate today. My first time. I hope it was okay.
no, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun doing commentary with you. Hopefully, we can do this more in the future. Like, if you've got the time, we certainly have the games to broadcast. Of course, to all the viewers, we will definitely be having broadcasts every Wednesday throughout the season, every single week. And frequently, we've got a Monday, so every now and then a Tuesday. So lots of opportunities to catch the action of the American Region Mahjong League. Of course, if you can't catch the broadcasts live, but you want to tune into the action later, you can visit our YouTube channel. There's a tiny URL link on the screen, or you can just go to youtube.com/@AmericanRicci. It's the same as our Twitter/X handle as well. And if you'd like to follow the results of the league, you can certainly check out our website, AmericanRicci.org, for the updated standings. You can also visit that website to register for the league. Fall season starts. I believe the deadline to register is September 16th, but fall season will start in a couple of months. So a little bit of time before then, but lots of time to check out the website. Thanks again to
It is.
Ichigo for hopping in on the commentary, and thanks again to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you in the next broadcast.
See you next time. Bye.